Right, it is Tuesday. We are on our way for the first time. We're in the Uber right now with all our stuff. By now, you guys have probably seen the tweet that we're going to be filming today. I wrote a couple of days ago and was hoping Ian would be fine with it. A little nervous to see how they respond to us being there. This is really unprecedented for not just us, but them as well. They've never let anybody have the access we're going to have. We're hoping they're going to take us behind the scenes. We'll have to sign NDAs because obviously they'll be working on late Dragonflight stuff and maybe even the next expansion as well. So
I have no idea who this man is.
Maybe a little.
He is an ex-WoW veteran that played for a very long time. Got fed up in Shadowland like the most of us. I honestly feel like Blizzard is way better at taking critiques now than before. They realized in Shadowland after all the creators were tomato throwing at them, they listen well now. They're like, okay, community feedback, important. The dev was, the lead was probably like, dude, why is so many people unsubscribing from WoW? And they're like, I think it's because we don't listen. And like, well, goddamn, listen to them. And I think they do listen a little better than before. It might not be perfect, but they do listen better than before. I'm not even copying. It's a fact.
Nerves getting closer with the people we're going to be.
Anyways, yeah, Preach is a guy who played WoW passionately for a long time, like the rest of us. But he got fed up and he went to go play FFXIV. And I think he wants to check out the Dragonflight stuff because it looks poggers. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for gifting sub to comics. Appreciate it. Same thing was said about Shadowlands. Don't get it twisted. They listened.
Definitely _not_sure gifted a tier 1 sub to comics.
Yeah, thank you.
They have given 36 gift subs
no,
on
I
the
think
channel.
I think the Shadowland one actually woke them up. Shadowland one woke them up. It was very impactful to them, especially with the assault stuff they had, the sexual harassment stuff.
Viewing. They're not trained to be in front of camera and they might be a little worried about what some people might say with such long form discussions as we're having, but honestly the conversations we've had in the last day or so, everyone seems really excited to do this and to show the change that's happened at Blizzard, which is our role right now is what has changed, what happened. We know what happened, all the allegations. The Shadowland's not doing very well and their previous expansions kind of going in a downhill trend, and now they seem to have changed their entire philosophy. So hopefully we can dig into what caused that.
See, he's saying exactly what I'm saying.
Financials and trying to get sub numbers up. How did they change their entire approach to the game? So that's what we're interested in. I hope it goes well. We're getting to meet so many cool people and higher ups like serious execs. So fingers crossed, guys.
Dude, it looks like a prison.
Tentacles.
Mocha.
The sheer number of cases that came out at that point, I was like, oh my god.
I just want to be hype about it again.
We're missing something big here, so we're failing.
Time to give up on World of Warcraft.
Almost a year ago, after 10 years of making nearly daily World of Warcraft content, decided that I could no longer do it. My love of the game, my passion of the game, and my enjoyment of the game had been reduced to absolute zero. Dragonflight starts coming, and one of the messages I receive is they have changed practically everything that I disliked about the game. So, what changed? Blizzard suffered through heavy issues during COVID-19 and then a spate of sexual allegations and lawsuits which entirely disrupted the upper management. That's a lot that's happened. What's really changed? So, we decided we would go and find out properly. If I was going to play this game again, enjoy this game and make content for this game again, I need to know the real truth. So we sent a message to Blizzard. We're not looking for money. In fact, we have paid to be here. That's right. This is not a marketing scheme. This is nothing that Blizzard has organized. They haven't asked me to come here. We asked them. We said, we will pay for it. We will come there. All we ask for is a bit of your time. And
wait. I could call Blizzard right now and pay them to go there? What?
Sitting down properly. Over the years, I've done several interviews with Blizzard employees from the top brass, but always under limitations. Being in front of a live Twitch stream, being in front of prepared questions or general guidelines of the things we're going to talk about. And I don't want any of that today. And Blizzard said yes. They said absolutely. We will give you a week on our campus. We will give you unprecedented, unfiltered access to our facilities and to what is going on. So as you can see, guys, I am here. I am standing on the Blizzard campus in front of the famous orc statue, and I have been and met absolutely everybody. Let's go on this journey and find out what the real truth is. First of all, let's sit down with two of the big guns. You probably haven't seen these outside of major announcements and don't know who they are, but they are very, very, very big deals. First, we're going to sit down with Holly Longdale. Holly joined in 2020 to take over the Classic team. She has so much MMO experience, it's ridiculous. She spent nearly 10 years alone on EverQuest 2 getting their Classic game up and running, and she's now the Vice President of all of World of Warcraft. With her, John Haidt. John's been in the game since 1993. He's worked on video game franchises you guys probably love, like God of War, Command & Conquer Red Alert. He literally, and I mean this, wrote the book on how to create video games. He was a professor for years and joined the World of Warcraft team in 2011. He is now in charge of Warcraft, not just World of Warcraft, all of Warcraft. I couldn't miss the opportunity while I had these two here to find out how Classic came about and how it's probably influencing Dragonflight.
I mean, Classic seems to have been a runaway success. Like the meme of it being, you think you want it, but you don't.
Yeah.
And now it's like...
Oh, we want it.
We thought you didn't, but you did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I mean, how was that decision come to at the time? Like, what made the change there with that?
That we actually made Classic?
Yeah, that you were like, okay, they keep asking, we're going to do it.
Honestly, yeah, we didn't think it was going to be financially even necessarily a great decision as much as it was our fans are really asking for this. Some of our most devoted fans are asking for this. And it really was. When we say it was a love letter, it was a love letter. We're like, we justified it in the, hey, we do this. It's going to make our fans super happy. And, we're going to learn a lot in the process. But, I mean, come on. How many games have gone back and recreated that? And I did that on God of War, right?
Yep.
God of War 1 and 2 and up-resed them. But the game's still live. It's like you can still play those areas in modern. So going back and recreating that original experience, I don't think that's ever been done before.
I mean, RuneScape's tried. Old school RuneScape.
Chad, do you think they should keep going with Wrath after Wrath? I don't think they should, right? I think Classic WoW was a W for them. I think if they stretch it out to Kata, I don't think it'll be a W anymore. I think they should stop. Artist wins. Oh shit. They will spread the player base too far. It'll be too much. Yeah, I think end it with Wrath, man. Kata is a classic for a lot of people, to be honest. No Kata hype.
The One Piece is real.
No Kata hype. I hate that. But Legion? No, man, we're not going all the way there. That's too far. The thing is, like, after Legion, Classic Legion ends, it's dead, right? It's kind of like Classic WoW. Classic WoW is super hype. After, there's nothing to do unless they do Classic Plus. If they do a Plus, I think that'll be fun. But I don't see them investing into another WoW when they already have retail going on and they need to put all their energy to retail.
But they had to accept a lot of changes.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here with doing our EverQuest Classic servers. This WoW is a whole different
animal.
Yeah.
What challenges did you meet then that you weren't expecting, I guess?
With Classic?
Yeah, for sure.
Numbers. Just vast.
Just the sheer amount of people playing it.
Numbers, yeah.
So many people play Classic.
Players never do what you expect them to. Like ever.
That's like every MMO lesson ever, right? It's like ants, they just crawl across the planet.
But that's one of the beauties of it is, we're re-exploring and relearning, Classic. Even as much time and effort is spent in the archaeology of, does it match what the original game was like? But when players interact with it now, the skill that they have, the knowledge, that some of them have done it before, all these like really interesting little edge cases and stuff that they find, and it's a day-to-day, wow, look what they figured out. Yeah, it was based on...
Did you expect it to just be like everyone's gonna play it for like a month? Was that your expectation?
Kind of. I mean, I remember our original estimates, and it was kind of funny because we totally underestimated the number of realms we were going to have, and I can remember, like arguing with one of our regions, you know, it was like very conservative and like, you know, we're only going to need this. And we'd flown out there and we're like, no, we think based on our estimates in North America, you're probably going to want to have more than that within, and, you know, God bless the Classic team, but like literally within weeks, they had to spin up 10 times our estimate.
Yeah. Almost like the original WoW.
To handle it.
Yeah. It's almost like you've recreated that back-end experience.
Except we had the technology.
I do want to compliment them on fixing the queue time. Okay, it's not queue time. How do I say it? The lineup for the queue time? So, say I was in a queue when Classic WoW came out and I had to wait 20 hours, right? And then now I'm at like my 5-hour mark. We're almost there from waiting all day long. But if I DC, I'll be put way back in line again, right? But then they fixed that after a week where if you DC, you still get to pick up in your spot and stay there, right? FF did not have that. I was pissed. Shadowlands, I kept DCing. Was it Endwalker actually or Shadowland? I think it was Endwalker came out. I kept DCing and I had to wait in queue over and over and over again. Like I'd be almost in and I start my stream because I have like 5 minutes left to log in, and then I log in and then I DC and I'm back in line again. Wow, I was tilted from that. And then I just watched Gordon Ramsay, right? Yeah, and doing POTD. I fucking hated that. And now Maud always haunts me in his comments saying I don't have Necromancer. I'm actually very close to going back and doing because of Maud, dude. It's not even the FF community, it's literally Maud. He always pokes me with that, man.
Time. Then it was like, we don't have the hardware. What do we do? I don't know. Go up to Fry's.
Literally belt strapping things together. Plug it in. Go, go, go.
Yeah.
But it's been. I'm curious what you guys have learned from that, from what the players are doing in Classic that's now coming into the retail game. Like you were like, yeah, we should bring that into the retail.
You're seeing it, yeah. I mean, that's the exciting thing is Classic brought back these conversations about talent trees, like revamping talents. How much do you love spending your points and experimenting with your class? Or if that was what your memory is, that's my memory of Classic or of Vanilla. And so the team recognized that. They're always taking the pulse too. It's like players really love that. And professions. I think the teams really wanted for a long time to be able to focus on professions as well.
Yeah, me too.
But even how we are looking at content, right? So more, you know, in Vanilla or Classic, there's the exploration factor. It felt less guided, and the team's taken that to heart too. And you'll see elements of that in Dragonflight as well. It's a really wonderful exploration about, you know, where are we now and where are we going to go in the future, and kind of taking stock and listening to the community. And it's pretty incredible to see it coming through in Dragonflight.
Yeah, I think there's social interaction, you know,
in
Classic,
so much.
You know, you had to, you know, just to get through stuff, you had to make friends, and we were all in this together. You know, I played in the beta, and I played, you know, WoW. I played for 18 years.
What's the biggest change you've seen in players? Because I talk about like what idyllic MMOs, you know, what would if I was creating an MMO, what it looked like, and I focus so much on the people.
Yeah, what is that? Like, did you see that? There's like a bar and his hand goes through it. Look at it. Ready? What is that?
Idyllic MMOs, you know, what would if I was creating an MMO?
Oh, like? I think it's a
and
camera.
I focus so much on the people because I can't think of
green screen
an
camera
MMO being
to get their
anywhere
angle.
I would consider great without the people you play with. I think about my guild more than what's this feature, what's this content. But we're growing loud voice that I've seen across many MMOs now. We're talking to so many MMO companies. A lot of players who just want the solo experience, and their biggest fear is actually other people, which blows my mind because I was like, I love the people so much, even the bad ones, because that's a moment, you know. I think about those moments with the bad people, and what's the biggest change you've seen in gamers in general?
I think you've actually identified one of the challenges that we face with World of Warcraft is we know that a lot of players just want to come in, have some fun, know that, you know, there's things for them to do, and not have the pressure of having to interact with other people. But then they want to, you know, and then when they have that chance encounter, you know, where someone happens to be farming the same thing and you just got killed 3 times and okay, let's join in a group together. We did it. We killed it together. Awesome. That's cool. Or meeting, that set of friends that you start running dungeons with, or you start doing a raid with and enjoying some of that group content that we've created. Those are some of the best moments in the game.
Yep.
Like I remember it was Christmas a few years back when we had the hive mind, mount. It was this crazy set of things that you had to do to unlock it. And I did this with a completely random set of people, 4 people I didn't even know. We went through all of it. I had all the monocles.
Oh my God.
We got this thing and we were all like high-fiving each other.
Chat, what was that thing? There was like rooms and rooms and rooms. It was like a maze. What was that? I forgot what it was called. Is that what they're talking about? Lucid Nightmare! Holy moly, dude. I kind of like those stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
I I got to put them on my friends list, and I actually kept in contact with the one for a couple months after that.
Yeah.
But those moments are so cool, and I think, we try to have experiences like
They're
that.
talking about hive mind.
No pressure. You can play by yourself if you want to. And I think there's something actually kind of comforting knowing that while I'm wandering around doing my solo thing, working on one of my alts or whatever, that there's thousands of other people around there, and I can see them doing their thing. And I think that's a really fun part of the game. It reminds me that I'm not just doing this all by myself.
Like I said before, what does it mean for Azeroth to feel alive, day to day, week to week, and ongoing? And how do we evolve that? And to me, I geek out. We all geek out about all this stuff about how do we evolve? We are committed to WoW evolving and delivering more for players and being mindful of the community. So when you're talking about how gamers have changed, we have people like you, we are a living, breathing community, not just in Azeroth, but outside it as well. And really, advancing our thinking about what does it mean for all of us as a community.
I feel like it's going to be really hard for WoW to top it off though, because there's so many new games that are very fun in boss fights or better PvP, right? I think even if WoW makes a lot of good changes, people are still going to shit on them, right? Because everyone's standards like so much higher than before. Up until maybe Kata, I don't think there was any super hype game. Maybe like solo player games, but not a lot of online games, right? But there's a lot of good online games now. So I think it's hard for them, man.
Around World of Warcraft. So we're thinking really big, and then also, what's going to bring players along, week to week, month to month, and make sure that, we're serving our community who want to live there.
This is why this trip is so important. Sitting down with these guys, finding out how Classic came about and how it's going to influence Dragonflight, so amazing. But one of the things I'm worried about with coming here is I actually don't know how everybody plays World of Warcraft. I think back to my day to say, from vanilla all the way up until the end, and the sheer amount of mandatory content that has been added to the game over the years.
What are the good games? Well, if you just go to Twitch and see what the popular side is, that is what most people are enjoying, right? High to low. Obviously, it doesn't represent everything, but it just shows like what people are into. Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, League of Legends, Pokemon, Valorant. Like some of these games come and go, but it just shows what people are more into nowadays. Like WoW's right there, right? Twitch, you could probably a good game. No, like I said, it doesn't represent the whole thing, but it gives you a summary of what games are enjoyed being watched on Twitch. Or if you go to YouTube analytics like we did, it just shows what other games people have interest in, right? I don't think that WoW can ever come back since Kata. It only declines in player unless it's a new expansion release and they have some people come back and maybe... Yeah, I think a lot of people come back thinking, oh, maybe this is the one. And I don't think people should have that expectation for Dragonflight. I don't think this is the one, but I think they are definitely on the correct movement where they're listening to players' feedback a lot better than before. Even better. I know people were coping in Shadowland, but they're definitely listening better than Shadowland. Like even I could see it, right? So maybe the next expansion after Dragonflight Might be poggers in the chat. Well, we will see, man. I never been less high for an X-Packs. Same, man. I'm not super high for Dragonflight, but it's new content. I want to give it a fair shot. I'm gonna play with open mind. I'm not gonna be like super harsh and critique anymore. I think casual approach is the best. When you're too passionate about the game, you'll get upset. You'll get upset. It's like when you're doing arenas and you're pushing really high and you get upset at each other, at the teammates, right? You don't want to go to that level. Just one more Felix, guys. This is the last one. Most of the new MMOs are action combat. Alright, let's watch the video, man.
Exponentially, including several systems which are just infinite in time. Now, of course, mandatory is a subjective thing. If you break it down, everything is optional. But if you wanted a character wearing the current gear, the latest legendaries, whatever it might be, your commitment to the game has massively increased. Even doing content that perhaps you don't like simply because you have to. Torghast would be a great example of that.
I think this is like a very important thing they have to distinguish. They want to make the player base have a little bit of homework. They got to balance that out. And they got to make that new thing fun. And I think the problem comes with Blizzard. They always try to add in new powers. And people hate that. People hate that. So Dragonflight, I don't think there's any borrowed power or anything crazy, right? And hopefully they get a better understanding of what the players like. And listen to the feedback, right? And I think they could do that. I think they could do that, man. What's up, Kill Station? Hello, hello.
The thing is, I actually don't know whether people like doing that. Nobody does except them. So let's sit down with Ian and try and find out how people spend their time in Azeroth. But I know how you guys spend your time, and that's by picking up a display. Display are proudly sponsoring this video so we could take all our equipment, pack up our staff, and fly across the world in order to speak to Blizzard on your behalf. If you like this and you want to see more of this, especially check out part 2 of this video where we're going to be looking at how World of Warcraft is made. And why
I actually wanted to get stuff from Display, but I read some bad reviews, so I didn't get them. Remember when I did the poll where you guys choose the posters? I don't know where to order the posters. I was gonna do Display, but people were telling me bad stuff about it, so I didn't do it. Oh, are they actually good? You got
using
2.
Our link
Okay.
down below, you can get up to a massive 44% off your display order. And we have these amazing official World of Warcraft displays that you can pick up in time for Dragonflight as well. So if you're looking for some cool art that's very, very easy to put up,
there goes your Display sponsor.
Multiple of them. Why not consider Display and help us out? And maybe
yeah, Display, I love you guys.
Other people you'd like us to talk to as well. Now let's talk to Ian. I mean, you serve so many different player types, right? I mean, I'm not sure how your metrics work, but one of the questions, because I think it's really tough when you're out there and you're not just a content creator, but you're anybody. The vast majority is a horrible, horrific term that gets thrown around all the time in reference to World of Warcraft. This is what the vast majority likes. What do people actually do in the game? Because you know, we don't know.
I mean, everything. Honestly, I mean, I think that's one of the quirks of WoW. It's part of the magic of WoW. It's part of what makes designing for WoW really challenging at times. I think you could take a dozen people, all of whom would say WoW is their primary game. It's one of their favorite games. It's a game they play a ton. You could sit them around a table and have them talk about what they do in the game and why they like it. Mm-hmm. And it could sound like they're describing 12 different games or experiences that would be foreign to the others. It really is everything from the, completionist solo collector to the casual PvPer who just queues Battlegrounds all weekend, to the hardcore PvPer who wants to push high rating, to the Mythic Plus focus player, to the casual raider, to the hardcore raider, to everything in between, and then all the different Venn diagram overlaps. And all of those people are World of Warcraft players.
Yeah.
And it's and I think the world is, again, as I said earlier, richer because it has all of them in it. But a challenge is, there is no majority, so to speak. It's a collection of many minorities, each of whom have different and sometimes competing interests. Yeah. And I think that's part of the challenge when it comes to...
What is that? Is that profession? Armor smithing. Improve at making plate armor, gain 1 crafting skill point.
Addressing feedback. I think, often the two are a little bit conflated, where hearing feedback should mean in the eyes of players, and understandably so. Well, do what I say. We told you I told you I don't like this. We told you we don't like this, and you didn't change it. Therefore, you're clearly not listening.
Especially if that person believes they're a reasonable person. I'm a reasonable person, and I think you're incorrect. So.
And they are, and they are a reasonable person, and I think it's totally reasonable to want to advocate for the game that you want to play and the play style that you favor. And it's our job to take everybody's concerns into account. It's not a player's concern to take other people's happiness into their.
I actually feel bad for the devs, man. Okay, there are a lot of people saying the right thing, but there is another level of people that are confused on the game and don't know what they're asking for, right? So, if I could ask you guys, like, what do you guys want in WoW? I feel like people don't truly know this answer. What do you want, Kaiser? I want to hear what you want. If big, juicy, honky donk. Okay, so you guys want boob sliders. I get that. Like, everybody wants boob sliders. Buff warriors. I don't think that's what I was asking for. I don't feel bad for the devs. They didn't listen. Right, but it can be a number of who they should listen to, right? I mean, in Shadowlands, fair point, we did ask for the Covenant changes. Took them fucking forever, right? But in their minds, they're probably like, what could we do to make them have fun and spend a lot of time in our game, etc., right? I want to play the devil's advocate here. He talks about that too. Just make Rogue better, to be honest. I want to die. No, you don't want to die, man. You want to live so you can marry your future AI waifu mode. Player housing, better balancing. I just want the game to be fun again. Right, what is fun again, though? What is the definition of that? That's why game dev is hard. Yeah, I feel like if I was a game developer, I'd lose all my hair, too. I want Red Paladins to be S tier. More BG arena classes, just some more. The thing about this, I want this too, but PvP is kind of a dead scene in WoW, and I don't know if they want to invest too much into it. I want to talk about PvP. Okay, if I can say short chat, I want every classes in the game to get nerfed in healing. I think classes have way too much healing right now. And I want them to understand, like, it's okay to die. I want them to have the arena approach in Lost Ark, where you have 5 minutes, whichever team gets the most kill wins. I don't like it when healers fucking unkillable and they're godly. Even in a hand of a person that's like new to playing healer. I hate that. But they have to make it like that because of the arena system right now. I'm not a fan of it though. I'm not a fan of it. Close WoW forever. I just want to play PvP without getting geared. Okay, so majority of my people are PvP players. That's awesome. You guys are the very little people. I'm one of them. I love PvP. There's not a lot of PvPers, man. Now I'm talking about Wowzer Duzunkers. Classes feel dog sleep. I agree. I think they should revamp it. I would love some changes too. I won't go too deep on it. I was thinking if I should, but we need to finish this video, right? I played Warcraft 3 so much as a kid. When WoW first came out, it got me hooked. It was hard for me to not play a new X-Pack. Only thing I would want to do is WoW. Did me too. I would run home from school to play WoW every fucking day. But I just had fun because I didn't know too much about the game, and I just did battlegrounds and arenas. That was pretty much it, and I was happy with that. I want player housing. Hi, Savix. Hello, Drixon. Wait, comics. So what do you want in WoW? I feel like I said at the start, people don't know what they want, really. I want transmogs to matter. I want transmog contests with actual prizes instead of trial style. That would be nice, too. I would like to see a dot full of choices to WoW and transition to a new MMO franchise. I want genuine developer behind the game compared to what we had in the moment with transparency. This is a little messed up to say, but Stoopzz, Bonnie, and I always talked about this. If there's a new game coming out, I want somebody kind of fresh, like maybe 35, 40, maybe even, you know, someone with new ideas. It's not the best thing to say, but yeah, I think you guys understand what I mean, right? It's kind of like the presidents. I don't know why all our presidents are fucking fossils. They're all super old. No disrespect to elders, but really old. You know what I mean? Balancing is hard. Little people, 0.1% of the player base. True. Okay, I'm really behind in chat. Let me try to just scroll up. I want more fun classes to play the entire game. Okay, so you want like a whole revamp on the classes that are not fun. I agree with you. I would love class revamps. When they introduced talent trees, I thought we were gonna have a bunch of new choices, but it's just what we had pasted onto the spellbook, right? I want Savix TP to be happy in Arena. I will say I'm a lot happier than before. Like I said at the start of the stream, I have a different approach in games now. I try to put myself in like the developer's feet, try to understand them. I'm not gonna be like too harsh. I'm just gonna casually enjoy the game. If I do see weird stuff, I will definitely mention it. But I want to ban DBM and the design. I wish they would filter out add-ons, but I don't think WoW is ever gonna do that, unfortunately. Bloodshots, GCD, 2 damage, boost upward, 1 shots, nothing changed. People we assume. Savix, sorry, I'm catching up. Let me eat those tomatoes. That's just paladins, bro. Did you say that all the time? No, a lot of classes. I don't think a lot of people have new abilities. Isn't it just all spell books, legendary and covenant ability like slapped onto the tree? There's not a lot of new stuff. It will still be the same shit gameplay, same grind, same dev, just new code. Yeah, it's what I said. It's definitely what I said. Honestly, true add-ons should get nerfed pre-patch. Dude, why can't I catch up with you? Okay, I'm caught up. Holy moly, man. No, look at Demo Dog, actually a Giga Chat class now. Wow, add-ons, unfortunately hiding poor design. I'm summoning a fucking Pit Lord as a demo. I just I'm sure we'll get something new in talent. Okay. Yeah, remember what I said earlier, Mod, about there's a lot of new games, expectations are high, our standards are high. We're not gonna be happy with the stuff we get here unless we see like a WoW 2. But I think I'm just gonna enjoy Dragonflight. As you see, everyone wants different. Yeah, it's what I said. I don't think the community, it's like split and it's hard for them to hear all the feedbacks. Let's see what they have to say, yeah? And most of you guys I agree with, man. I agree with 100%. But I think they're confused too on what the player wants. Mostly when they say make the game better or the game shit, like they don't know where to start from, I think. But it's good. Just give them feedback in forums, chat. That's the best way to reach them, I believe.
Their account and playing a game.
WoW feels stale. I think it's part of us being older too, man. I think that has a play too. And like I said, our expectation for games are getting higher and higher, right? Because there's so many new games out there. Forums Omega Low. Dude, I never go on the forums too. I Omega Low forums, but that's where they read the most stuff. I'm gonna complain in chat. Oh, I'm about to like sneeze. Final Fantasy is definitely not stale. Final Fantasy is such a good game, man. I love Final Fantasy 14.
They just want what's going to make it the most fun for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I think the challenge comes where sometimes those desires are directly conflicting. Where, you know,
You got an example?
Yeah, I mean, I think rewards are a clear case.
I'd love to get into this with you.
Yeah, right? It's basically the people who want to do a thing and don't see any value in it and want it to be more rewarding versus the people who don't want to be forced to do the thing and want it to stay not rewarding at all. Or, you know, should PvE have any place in PvP? Or vice versa. And to some extent, like we can continue to separate out the ecosystems to solve these problems. We can say there's no crossover whatsoever, and you're basically playing a completely different game if you're doing this activity versus that.
Going to Savix, make him say that. Oh, about FF? No, I love FF, man. This is actually the problem, is they're listening to the community. The community doesn't even know what they want. They just want to build something they are passionate about, want to product, sell itself. Little Timmy wants a buff. This nerf that. No idea what's going on. They're listening to community, but community is in. I will say I agree with that, but I think when they pointed out the covenant stuff, they gotta fix that right away. Like the obvious ones, they gotta fix that right away, and people will be happy. I think that's what upset a lot of people, right? But yeah, on the class balancing stuff, it can be a little troll because everyone's biased. They play their own class. That's why I try to be neutral, man. Like people say I cried about red. I don't cry about red. I just ask for mobility and don't buff the damage and heals. But they did the opposite, and I get the blame for it. I don't like that. Rihanna FF is no, FF is insane, man. FF is insane.
Activity, or to the extent that there's crossover, there's going to be some people who would prefer it weren't that way.
For sure, because I mean, one of the most common things, and I'm guilty of this, and what I can also honestly say after now we're here is, I definitely got to the point.
I don't even know if they saw my video comics. I'm gonna be honest.
Definitely went overboard with where I was, which I think is the place you end up with because of a business relation. It's like ordinarily I just put the game down. I don't know whether it's an internal pressure, and I kind of think this goes back all the way to Nax Ramis, the original one, where it's like we've invested time and money into this content, but if we don't make them go, they're not going to go. And I don't. Is that something that's a very real thing?
I think it is a real thing. I think make is maybe too strong a word, but if we don't incentivize it, if we don't make it
they
feel
said that
like
comics
we're progressing in some way as a result of it, then yeah, people probably won't do it. But I think if we made a zone full of awesome quests that literally offered no rewards, as a hypothetical, right? No experience, no gold, no items, nothing at all, but it's really cool content, most people wouldn't touch it. People who did might touch it once. And that's not to say that, you know, the people who would do it if you're doing it to level, who would do it if you're doing it to get a professional recipe, to whatever, are going to dislike it as a result. But at the end of the day, it is a game that, as part of just the core RPG progression, you have a lot of goals, you're making your numbers go up, you're trying to overcome challenges, you're choosing how to spend your often limited time these days wisely, and you're going to spend that time doing things that are getting you closer to your goals. Maybe like at the end of an expansion when you have no more other goals left, you might go back and chase cosmetics or do things that, you know, you haven't had a chance to just for completionist's sake. But
that's why I say, I know Maul hates this, but after you're done with the game, something we can nibble on is Mythic IO or climbing arena. Like that score we look at. How many of you guys like playing arena because you like to just climb, right? That's me, right? I like to climb. And that's the end game for me, kind of. I do enjoy the gearing progress. It's one of the most fun things ever. Especially in Classic WoW when you're doing dungeons together with your friends, PvPing to get honor gear. That's why I say start of the expansion is the most fun in any expansion because you just grind with your friends and play. But we got our own ways, our own definition of end game, I guess. Some people like to collect stuff. Some people like to climb rating. That's why, never mind. I'm not going to touch that pet battle subject, man. Kai's effing up my YouTube video recommendations. What do you mean, man? They addressed Paladin issues here. Dude, that does not look like Paladin issues. Alright. You get where I'm going, though, right? Go into the pet battle thing. Okay, so players were asking to increase the pet battle interaction. And I was saying a way to increase interaction, like I don't care about pet battles, right? But if they wanted to increase interaction, I think adding a fun little rating system for pet battle would get some people interested in just playing it to climb rating. Yes. Nobody cares. I don't care either. But they love it when I talk about this. Maud has like a fetish. She wants to get like tied up and me talking about pet battles.
Those feel like lost opportunities when they're
added to mobile. I'll play a shit ton of it, but added to mobile with the rating, and more people will play it just to climb the rating. Like they'll get addicted and hooked on the rating, and they'll play it. Right? It's like people playing Overwatch, trying to go from silver to gold, gold to diamond, etc. You have a fetish about rated content? No, rated content is important to me, so I don't like how you pretend like it's not, where you actually like to raid and you like to climb IO scores and you like to do arenas, right? I know you like climbing, so I don't know why you try to pull yourself away from that. And especially in phone games, one of the most addicted phone games, they all have a rating system. It's how people get hooked on the game. There's PvP modes, and you fight, battle against each other, and you climb points, right? Even my brothers, like, they play phone games because they're older and they have kids. They always talk about the rating system in the game. Like, oh, I'm climbing high. I'm like number 3 in this game, blah, 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 right? The rating in a game is pretty important in my opinion. So I don't like why you pretend like it's not important. Valorant, Dota, 99% play for rating. Exactly, man. Exactly. Like Genshin, no, Genshin's more of like a solo enjoy relaxing gameplay, right? I don't think there's anything downside to adding a rated system in pet battle if they did it. Like, this is a topic that is not even important, but yeah, I'm saying it's not, but you act like literally the only content. No, it's not the only content. It's to increase participation, and I want you to know that, right? I don't think I'm wrong on this. I don't. Best part about Explore Collection Dungeon to play with my friend, I tend to be on and off WoW whenever I can. Time goes. Savix, they put reward, but rating and WoW aren't number chasing game. Everyone gets hooked on the latter placement. Don't ban me. I just like to see more. I love you too, Kaiser. Let's watch this, shall we?
There's something out there that has potential that's just underutilized.
Yeah. So where do you draw the line then in being incentivizing it via power?
Or, you guys are like trolling, man. What the fuck is that?
Versus this gives you a cool mount. Do you see a distinct difference in participation? Because it's like, oh, they'll just look at it. And I guess a good example of this would actually be challenge modes. And I don't know if you know the participation rates there, which were purely cosmetic rewards, right? That's all that challenge modes gave you, was just a transmog. And did that come across as perhaps a failure?
Holy fuck, he's fast.
I don't think challenge modes were a failure, no. Their participation was overall quite low.
Well, that's so cool. I love that.
It got a bit better. I want to say, if I remember, towards the end of Mists, I think we added a decent chunk of Valor for doing challenge mode runs that helped, it helped justify it to people who were just looking to cap their Valor for the week. They could at least work towards something else at the same time.
Holy, this guy's so fast!
Because I think it also, as someone who worked very directly on challenge modes, 10 years ago, it wasn't 30 people laboring to make this thing. It was, let's try an extra difficulty, let's add an extra overlay on the content we're already making, and for the people who got a lot of value out of it, a lot of enjoyment out of it, that felt well worth
3-minute SM run? 3 minute?
Yeah, you're correct. When we're looking at a major expansion feature like a Torghast, if that were only used by as many people as did Mist challenge modes, that would have been seen as a significant failure. It's like, we put a ton of time, design resources, engineering, art, iteration into this. If only 8% of our players did it, well then we should really we should have just put those resources into something else that 90% of our players were going to do, because we would have made more of our players happy. At the end of the day, that's the challenge we're trying to solve. It's, we have a finite team, even as we grow.
Wait, they're already here. What the hell? That was so fast.
We have this many, person hours of work
took a shower.
that we've done this year.
I took a shower. That's why my hair looks better
those in the way that's going to make the most fun for the most players.
Well, one of the things with Dragonflight that's changing is because obviously part of what I would consider the failure of Torghast is that people felt. I know that one of the reasons I stopped playing was I'd log on to my alt, and it was like, okay, I kind of need to farm a legendary, I kind of need to conduits, I kind of need to do this. And as somebody, as I'm sure you're aware, I was a huge champion of Torghast. I had a great interview with Morgan about Torghast, and then a lot of it changed. And I was like, this is just killing my soul. It made me very unhappy. It's like, where do you then, is that just a case of looking at alt friendliness for that? Or is this in Dragonflight where you actually have completely smashed this out of the park?
It's there's a few pieces to that. I think even aside from alt friendliness, which was clearly an issue there, I think
what he said is important. The soulless grind and having that anxiety, like, did I do everything for next week? I think they put way too much. They gotta control that better. They need to balance that better. But having nothing to do is bad too, right? But I don't think the chore should be something we should be logging in every day for. I think that's really, really bad. Mala, thank you for the 13 month. Appreciate it, man.
$65.
Thank you. Mala, you could have won $1,000, man. I missed the random chance of finding a legendary Legion experience. That was fun too. It's not a Korean MMO. Yeah, I think Lost Ark probably has it the worst, where you need to like log in literally every day for homework. There is a rested system, but you get rewarded if you log in every day. I don't think that's how it should be.
I think that the mandatory weekly loop, the feeling that you have to do this basically.
Savix, your shorts is popping off.
Essentially forever.
What did you do? I can't see it anymore. How did you do this, man?
If you put it off, you know, I think that's something that got us thinking a lot about just the player psychology of how people approach mandatory things with expiration date, perceived chores, like that feeling of maybe it's Monday or I guess Tuesday if you're in Europe, and
Wednesday.
the last day of the week is what I'm talking about.
Oh,
so
okay,
Tuesday,
okay.
if you're in
Tuesday,
Europe,
yeah, all right.
you had a long day at work, then you went out for dinner with your friends, with your loved ones, whatever. You come home, you're exhausted, and you realize like, oh crap, I haven't done my Torghast run
Been
for
there
the
many
week.
times.
Exactly. Does that make you feel good about World of Warcraft in that moment?
No.
Absolutely not. And so, why are we doing that to people? And there's a lot of ways around that. There's it's catch-up mechanisms so that if you knew that if you missed it this week, you could just catch up and do 2 next week or whatever. Suddenly, the psychology is very different. If there's more flexibility and you can do multiple weeks in a row, or if there's just less, if it's less of an exclusive reward that only comes from this one source, now suddenly it's fine. Yeah, you're tired tonight, you had fun doing other things, you don't have to log in when you don't want to. But in any case, getting back to Torghast, I think, yeah, it was gameplay that was kind of forced to overstay its welcome in a lot of ways, because it became something that you had to keep doing for as long as people did. Something that we've tried to pivot to, and I know you mentioned you didn't personally jump in.
I guess Tower of Torghast like Chaos Dungeon and Lost Ark. But Lost Ark Chaos Dungeons are way more fun. Just fucking destroy everything. Where in Torghast, you're literally getting CVT with the little power-ups. He did ignore him because I hit him deep. Mod, if I read your shit, you're gonna be like, oh, he's so easy to get. Like, I don't know what you want me to do, man. You want me to read your stuff? Okay, what did you write? Let me scroll up, man. You only had nothing to do because you only play PvP and you played it all day. Imagine taking to pet battle main and complaining about there's nothing to do. Dude, the pet battle is irrelevant. The pet battle is irrelevant. And I did mythics and raids, man. Ask Jesse. Jesse's my rank 1 partner. I did raids just to get items for arena. Yes. I did everything.
Zereth Mortis.
Oh.
But part of how we approached the activities there, the cipher system, the reputations, the outdoor loop, was basically we're going to give you a couple of weeks.
Look, he's like so easy. And then now I'm not going to read, and then he's going to get pissed if I don't read. I'm not reading your comment, man.
Of the first couple of weeks,
You guys
we're
are
going to
so
say,
dumb.
here's frankly a carrot that everyone's going to want. You want to get your second legendary. You want the ability to craft your Unity legendary. That's the second one that you can equip. Doing that's going to take you a couple of weeks of checking out the content. Past that, everything is 100% optional, but you've seen it all, and you can decide whether you like it or not.
Let me
If
pay
you like
attention
it,
to this
you've gotten a
video.
taste, and you can keep going. And if you don't, cool, just never go back. You can ignore it and focus on Mythic Plus, raids, whatever else. It's a little bit of a middle ground between there being no mandatory power at all, where a lot of people who might have enjoyed the content will never even give it a chance because they're like, well, why am I going to do that? It doesn't give me anything. Or obviously the opposite end of the spectrum, where it just becomes an endless thing that you have to keep doing.
You've taken a pretty hard stance at this. For my playtesting of Dragonflight, this has now become almost a core value of Blizzard going forward, or seemingly, but obviously we're here to talk about it today, is like just no more of that. No more mandatory stuff. And is there like an internal fear then? It's like, are we making stuff now that people aren't going to check out? And are we actually okay with that? Because a lot of games now are going with a more drop-in, drop-out style, and they're still maintaining a sub. Is that something, I mean, this is a risky move you're making in Dragonflight, I think, internally.
I think, so, the concept of mandatory, I do think only applies to a certain portion of the player base. I think it's certainly, high-end competitive players, if there's any advantage that they can get, they have to get it. Well understood. But I think some of what we're also moving away from that lets us, like systems like
I think they could just do what FF does, just put a cosmetic item or a mount and they'll go do it, right? Instead of just making a content, and if nobody does it, they're upset that nobody did it, and they're now gonna be thinking if they should add something insane reward so that people go and do it and complete that campaign they just added, right? Just do what FF does, man. Just put a cosmetic emote. I would love WoW to have some emotes, man. When I saw this Black Friday sale and you go in there, there's nothing in WoW, man. Like, nothing. FF had some good ass emotes. I love me some emotes, chat. Would you like some emotes, chat? I want WoW to add more emotes. I like emotes. The WoW emotes are dumb. WoW used to have the best emotes, but they haven't upgraded in what, like 10 years now? Did we even get an emote, man? Rank 1 PP? No, not rank 1 PP emotes, you dingus. Just emotes from questing. Sure, but money, I already played the game every month. They're gonna add emotes so they can remove them again on the sexual assault content. I want to buy an epic dance, but we were... Dude, me too! I was pissed when we were promised new dances. Bee's knees. Rank 1 PvP teabagging, man. Nah, nothing toxic, man. Like, FF has like sipping tea or other dance moves. I think those are cool. Show Red Pumper Talent. I do have a video on my main channel, Grammar. If you want to check that out, I explain everything about Red. 3 videos before the newest one.
Now, their outdoor world loop, they have powerful rewards from them. You can make, this profession crafting reagents at the end of a renown tracks that will let you make 402 plus gear that is heroic raid quality. There are other, profession recipes and other things that people will look at and want. But
Snuffy, yeah, Snuffy
the
has
Mythic Raider who's looking to, push the Hall of Fame isn't going to look at any of those things and say, oh no, this stuff I need from this that I can't get elsewhere, therefore I have to do it.
Yeah.
And some of that is just a product of moving away from the auxiliaries, so-called borrowed power alternate advancement systems that we had in the last few expansions. Item level is kind of the simple universal reward. Item level is power, but it's fungible. You can get it from other sources, and it's only as valuable as how it compares to the other stuff you have access to, as opposed to artifact power, essences for your Heart of Azeroth, conduits, all those other things, where it didn't matter how high your eye level was from other content, you had to do this because it was additive.
Mm-hmm. But they were great things, though. Like, it was always the acquisition that was the problem. Like, the actual result was great. I just don't want to farm 50,000 honor in Battlegrounds, Like, the actual system itself, and Azerite Armor in particular is one that I'm deeply upset about, because I genuinely thought item level is something, and again, it's personal bias,
I hated this. I hated this.
I have no issue with Mr. Does World Quest having the same item level as Mythic Raider, but Azerite Armor seems to
I
open
hate
the door to
Azerite.
like, well, we can tailor this now.
I honestly would like to say I hate BFA more than Shadowland.
World questing and your experience. We can do it for PvP. We can do it for Mythic Plus, make 5-man more fun things. It didn't go that way, unfortunately. It's
you're so stupid.
But now you are upping the rewards from Mythic Plus, giving those guys natural appeasing people like JB, so we can actually stop.
BFA was the worst expansion. Yeah, I think BFA was the worst expansion I've ever had.
Long term, or is there still an idea of, if you're not raiding or doing high Mythic Plus or high in PvP, you should still be a bit lower?
Mom, you're so
I think there's definitely a little bit of there's still a spectrum there. Eye level, is if you want 415, 421 type gear in Dragonflight, you're going to need to do high-end PvP, high-end raiding, high-end Mythic Plus.
Mm-hmm.
We do want outdoor play and certainly professions to be able to push farther into that track than they ever have before. I think at times in the past it's felt like if you were a solo player, well, you kind of capped out at maybe you could get a couple of normal mode raid pieces, and otherwise you were like 30 eye levels behind the Mythic Raider. That's, I think, too large a gap, and something we'd like to close. And that's, really speaking, getting back to some of the earlier conversation about player groups and silent majorities and so forth. We do feel like we have underserved the just solo outdoor focused player who chooses to spend tons and tons of time in World of Warcraft over the years, and they care about progression too.
Yep.
And I think it's often inaccurate to just assume, oh, well, because you're not trying to push high keys, why do you even need item level?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, people want the number to go up.
Speaking to Ian this time really opened my eyes to some things, and probably something that you guys have been guilty of
Ian seems like he understands everything
as much as me. Why don't the devs listen to us? I spent months, years of my life shouting from the rooftops about things that I considered to be obvious problems, and in many cases did turn out to be. So why is that not getting back to them? Well, it turns out it is. A lot more than you guys probably realize. I spent the entire week with the communications team. Those were the guys who were guiding us around, and they were absolutely incredible. But one of the things they really stressed to us is how much on a weekly basis they gather as much information as possible from the community, reading forums, subreddits, everything, watching videos, and feed that back directly to the people in charge. Some of you might scoff that no they don't, but to clarify this, we spoke to Josh Allen, aka Law. He was with Blizzard for 9 years on the communication team itself, has no reason to lie, and the only reason he left Blizzard was because such a large advancement in his career came up elsewhere. Well, that's one thing we learned from the current...
Oh, he quit? He's not part of the team anymore?
Community manager team is like, I was like, what is your day-to-day job then? And they were like, well, we get like the patch notes and we sift through those things that are relevant, because a lot of them are like bullshit data side things that nobody cares about. And then we put them out to the public. But another part of it is we basically read forums a lot and we gather all that feedback, and then we present that to the relevant people to say, this is the kind of community feel right now. Did you feel like you had to filter that for like what's relevant, what's not?
Yeah, I mean, there was a significant portion of my time at Blizzard where developer communications was my job. And then my job got reconfigured into being more influencer focused, and everyone was like, why does Lore hate us now? He doesn't talk on the forums anymore. I'm like, well, yes, that's because it's not my job.
He's probably having a better time in TikTok than the WoW forums. 100%.
I'm no longer doing that specific task. There are other people doing that task. Go listen to them. Yeah, there was a lot of that general job and position is not even so much filtering as, I guess, distilling is how I would put it.
Make sure it goes to the right place.
Yeah, make sure it goes to the right place. Make sure that, because a lot of times people will say one thing and what they actually mean is kind of something else. Like, they still mean what they say, obviously, but if it's like, wow, I really hate, like Torghast was a great example where people were like, they really, really loved Torghast in early beta. And then when it came out, they were like, wow, I hate Torghast so much. And the takeaway from that was, okay, what changed? And what changed was rewards were added to it. And so then it became a...
Yeah, it was forced upon. I remember Quinn loving Torghast. He would live and breathe in Torghast and trying to climb to the highest one. Those are actually fun to watch. But once it was forced upon people, people hated it.
Both, right? They took rewards out because they had gear and stuff in it originally. It was, it got silly. They took all that out and then they just made you do it for legendaries, which was a complete like 180 on what it originally was.
That's what I mean though, is like, it's the sort of thing where if Torghast had just remained as like a fun thing that you could go do when you felt like it, I think a lot of people would have enjoyed it because they didn't feel obligated to do it. But as soon as you add that obligation, that was the point where it became a chore for people, and it became Torghast at that point.
I think the thing is, on early beta too, we were just getting powerful and just ramping up, just slaughtering through. But the later ones, you were getting slowed, you were getting chained, you couldn't even go take a piss break. It was too much. It was too much, right? And we had to do it every week, so people got pissed about that. Rated Torghast?
And so that was the sort of thing that like we would look at that sort of feedback and we'd be like, okay, yes, everyone's saying they don't like Torghast, but the majority of the reason we can tell from reading all these different things, and like obviously there's a variety of opinions as well, so it's always a matter of like what are the biggest pain points to be discovered, because like occasionally there were some people just like, I don't like the way the Ghost Boys look. I'm like, okay, well that's valid opinion. You're allowed to not like the Ghosty Boys, but that's not what I'm going to take to the development team as like a priority issue.
I'm not reading.
Yeah, but that's what I mean by like
I'm not
sometimes people are
replying to you, Mom.
They just say they hate something, and you have to spend some time figuring out, okay, why do they hate this?
Yeah.
What about it is
I mean, it's
the
no
actual
different
problem?
than YouTube comments. It's like, I fucking hate the sound of his voice. Okay, do you hate my accent? Do you hate the microphone I'm using?
Yeah.
Am I too loud? Am I not normalized properly? Like, trying to figure it out, or is it just, you know, you just hate the sound of my
It's
voice?
actually your face. So
yeah, which is odd because they specifically said my voice. But now I see in the mirror.
I can relate.
But most of the feedback does get back to the guys, to the developers, which obviously one of the biggest complaints.
Most of my comments Asian hate stuff. Your flow take, thank you for the 62 months, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
One step closer to 69.
Almost there, man. I hope you're doing well, Flowtake. Founder's badge, my DK partner. Pretty shitting on WoW for months and now he's back, man. Yeah, a lot of people were not happy about that, but it's a cycle we all go through. Deep inside, we all love WoW, man. He loves WoW.
In the WoW community.
And I'm sure he's definitely feeling... FF is gonna get mad at me if they hear about this, but I think FF content is really dry right now. So he's gotta play Dragonflight, man. FF content is dry. Unless there's a new patch and be bad chess with the MSQ.
Is like, they're not listening to us. You know, I've been bitching about this I mean, nobody knows better than me is how much I bitched about some of the things in Shadowlands. But they do generally get most of the stuff there, which is surprising when you find out.
I love FF chat. There's nothing wrong with being dry with
people
content.
Especially when
it's how the game
especially
is.
Once a point becomes like, well, everyone knows that no one likes this thing. It's like, well, yes, everyone also includes the development team by this point. You can be fairly confident in that. And a lot of times then the job actually, it gets interesting because a lot of times then the job becomes, okay, what are the other things? Because everyone's talking about this one thing that's really upsetting everyone right now. I don't need to tell the development team for the 30th time that people want to be able to switch between covenants. Like, they know that. I don't need to tell them that again. So what are the other topics that are going on in the community that they're not aware of because everyone's so busy focused talking about this thing? And so making sure that those other bits of feedback and those other smaller conversations still make it to the development team. And that's not like trying to like distract them from the more important conversation or anything. It's just that work doesn't need to be done. But yeah, like, so a lot of time there's been cases in the past where it's like, okay, we like the team would learn about what the features were in the upcoming
What did he mean by
expansion.
that work did not need to be done when people were most upset about the covenant changes?
And I would be like, okay, that feature is the one.
I feel like that
everyone's
thing
going
was
to hate.
huge.
Like I can tell already what's going on here is people are going to be very upset about this.
So like me with Covenants. I mean, I knew in 2 minutes it was like, this is a bad idea.
Yeah. Covenants was a weird one just because I did not fully understand what it was for a while. Because like imagine Covenants ended up being a pretty convoluted, especially with like you add in soulbinds and everything as well. Ended up being a pretty complicated and convoluted system. Imagine if none of that work had been done yet and someone was just trying to vaguely describe what it was going to be to you. That was the state that I was receiving this information in. So I was like, I don't understand it yet.
At BlizzCon,
I don't know what
it
is.
They were announced and we were like, we all fill in the gaps ourselves.
Yeah.
Right, that's what happens. And I came up with a really thorough RPG storytelling thing and all this, and like I was like, these are going to be awesome.
That's one of my favorite like pitfalls that I try to warn people about with like every job that I've had and every announcement that I've been a part of.
Here's one important factor though, chat. If you play a game, maybe not every game. I think story games you don't feel it, but any online game you could play forever, if you play it too much, like way too much, you'll see all the flaws in it and you end up starting to hate it. Like you just have a villain arc. And especially if the devs don't listen and fix it, you just become a villain of that game. Like comics. Or I was even thinking when Shadowlands first came out, and I remember Bonnie and I like freaking loving it, but Bonnie said, just give it 2 years and we're gonna say we fucking hate this game. And it's true. It's so true, man. You just play it long enough to become a villain. You do. If you play it casually, you don't become a villain. Right now, my approach in WoW, it might surprise you guys, but the 2 days I was editing videos, I didn't play WoW for like 3 days, man. Back then, I used to log in every fucking single day. Literally not a day of missing and play Arena or Mythic. But now I just don't play on my off time. I just like go work out, make food, or work on videos. I just don't play it too much. Then I feel like I could enjoy it a little. I might go too ham on Dragonflight though. I might. Every game has that is focused on hard content, so there is a chance for him to break free. I'm not gonna play WoW forever, mod. That's not the plan, man. It's 3 days before launch. You'll be on that shit for 3 weeks. Yeah, for a month I'm gonna go fucking ham. There's no way I won't. I'm gonna raise like a bunch of characters too. I'm not gonna play just one Red Paladin and be depressed. I'm gonna play Red Paladin, I'm gonna play Warrior, and I'm thinking about DH, but did DH get a recent nerf chat? I saw Trill, not Trill, who's the DH Pillar fought against in the solo queue arena? Tren, I think it was Tren. Tren was posting saying DH is dead class now. Was there a big nerf on them or? Do not play DH, they're going to nerf it hard. Delusional DH. Okay, so he's being biased. Typical DH main crying about smaller. Okay. They did do a lot of damage though, let's be fair. Don't be a meta slave. It's not about that, it's about me having fun. And if Red Paladin gets nerfed in damage, yeah, I gotta have some backup plans this time. I'm not gonna be an idiot that plays one class, man. DH is, yeah, I know DH is Omega Crack. I know they are. Play Rogue. I like Rogue too. I might actually play an Outlaw Rogue for PvE Mythic. I'm gonna do a lot more PvE chat. I'm sorry. I know you guys are all PvP players that watch me. But this game we play is a PvE game. It's not PvP. PvP is a mini game. And I understood that very late. So I should be doing PvE content. I was watching a few people do tier lists for WoW, and when they get to PvP part, they just skip it. They're like, PvP fucking sucks, and they just skip it. Like 90% of them. I think we are the very small majority of the players that still hold on to PvP and like PvP. I wish PvP could get better, but that is another topic I could talk about. Watch this timestamp for PvE Havoc, okay? No, I know they were freaking insane. Like I played beta, right? 3 days ago. Okay, is this after the nerf or before?
Do you think though, like if we are to eat any nerfs, we're in a spot where I think we're still going to come out of it in a great spot just because of our kit, because of the changes? Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay, he said it perfectly. Their kit is amazing. I feel like whoever designed the DH talent tree had a great thought.
Alright, so where would you put it as of right now?
I'm going to be humble. I'm going to put it on A.
Okay.
No, people disagree.
Okay, I disagree with that part. I think DH is an easy S, man. Okay, I was gonna say he's saying the right stuff, but
this is a meme tier list, right?
It is a meme tier list. Yeah. Okay. All right. So okay, I'll just put it like high. Sure. A plus. We'll put it
come on, dude.
All right. A plus. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being on. If you guys want to follow him, you can follow Jedith at twitch.tv/Jedith. He also has a. That's your.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to this video. We're falling off track, chat. We're almost done.
Like, please be sure you're ready to talk about something in a
look at this DH change. Wow, I think I want to play a DH.
Twitch name, right? That's correct. Yep, cool. And he has a YouTube channel as well. So make sure you guys check it out. All right, cool. Thanks for being on, man.
Shit, wrong video, man.
Complete sense before you start talking about it, because if you just throw out like a vague idea of like, here's what this is going to be. We have this idea to build something that's kind of like this. They will fill in the blanks.
Yep.
And they will either, if they're feeling negative, they will fill in the blanks with all negative things about how this is going to be the worst thing that they've ever experienced, and thus they will hate your thing before you've even made it. Or
I love
build it up to
reacting.
be this amazing, like huge, groundbreaking thing, like Island Expeditions. This happened with Island Expeditions in BFA, where everyone was like, "Oh my God, we're going to go to all these islands, and it's going to be like this really cool, like PvE, but kind of PvP-ish sort of thing, and that's going to be great, and we're unearthing these artifacts, and we're finding all this cool stuff." And then we're like, wait.
I'm not gonna lie, chat. Unpopular take. I thought Islands was fun. I think they should have just had more cosmetic rewards, and I would have kept doing them. I just ran out of reason to do them. It was decent. I had fun. The PvP one was fun. It's kind of like the FF Mythic Pluses they added. just grab the reward and you never do them, right? Same thing. Island Expedition versus players was pretty damn fun for me. Versus bots is fucking easy. Literally easy, free win, right? But against players, there was like adrenaline. You fight them as you're fucking mining. You're like, that bitch is mining. Okay, I'm gonna go fucking whack him. Bang! And you start mining. I actually kind of liked it. It was pretty fun. It was like an arena with mining in it. And killing mobs. So it was like a PvE 3v3 arena. The concept was fun. I'm not gonna lie, man. I almost even want to say it's better than arena. Because you could die and you res and you can make a comeback. That objective gameplay is better than arena, chat. What do you think? I'm whacking right now. Don't hit me. Sorry. Asmon reacting to something huge. What's up? Thank you. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna eat right now. Chat, my brother bought me some little sushi and a little jello. Wow. Gonna say hi? Chat, my brother is starting a YouTube channel soon. He's gonna do some cooking and he's gonna make some Gundams. I'll share it to the channel when he starts. Bye bye. Thank fucking God I didn't click this. You psychopaths. Dude, I locked my door. How did he get in? I don't know how my brother like cracks in my house. I didn't even know he was in my house. Holy moly, dude. The door can't stop me. Is he younger than? No, he's older than me. He's 4 years older than I am. He's a really good brother though. I like him a lot. So you're saying they should add PvP. Where are you guys getting pet battles on Island Expedition? Chat, what do you think? Do you think Island Expedition were better than Arena? I know I sound crazy, but the concept of Island Expedition was fun. Look at this. 3v3 Arena. World of Warcraft, Nagrand Arena. Chat, don't get me wrong. I'm a guy that fucking lived in Arena. I love Arena. Don't get me wrong, okay? But there's 3 enemies, right? Versus 3 of your teammates. And what do? You just go on the target, CC. He's dying. Oh, he's just gonna pillar hump all day long. Wait for dampening 20%. Jesus Christ, the game's never ending, right? Whereas in Island Expedition PvP, you're jumped on an island, and there's mines, objectives, and it's a 3v3 gameplay. And it's okay for you to die. If you die, you res on the boat and you come back and you can make a comeback. As long as whoever fills this bar first, and there's objectives, like you're doing 3v3 in the jungle fighting players. You could do the same thing, but it's more enhanced. You kill mobs, collect shit. If you're killing these guys and they see you, they're gonna jump you and fight you. And you can try to pull away. I feel like this could have been big. Like I said, I think the rewards, if it was better, people would have kept doing them. I didn't mind Island Expedition. For a time being, I had fun, and then later I just didn't do it. But the objective gameplay, fighting mobs and pulling a lot while fighting enemy teams, or you're on the lookout, like your boys are killing these mobs, and then you are in charge if the enemy's coming, like you CC them up so they could kill this, and then you guys can dip together. And if you die, just rest, come back, group up, and fight again until whoever fills this up. Whereas in Arena, one guy dies, the game's over. And then now Blizzard, they balance the game where healers are unkillable because they don't want it to be over fast, right? I talked to some PvP devs when I went to BlizzCon 2018, 2017, somewhere along that line. The reason why they make it okay with the dampening is because they don't want the games to end fast. Because the game ends fast, BlizzCon tournaments will be too fast, and they gotta like milk the time, right? I feel like this is a way better system than people fucking pillar humping and drinking mana and nobody's dying. I like it when people can actually die and res and come back and fight. I think an objective gameplay is way more fun. Who is he talking to? I'm talking to the people that is watching the YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe. You discard the Battleground, bro? I mean, Battleground is 10v10 or 15 versus 15. That's way different. 3v3 versus 3v3 is way more significantly fun for me. I'm not a fan of big battles. People that like big battles like 40 versus 40, like occasionally it's fun, but it's just a lag fest and number of people, zero coordination. It's just apes just bashing at each other. I don't find any skill in that. That's why I want 66 RBGs. But I don't think, maybe they're looking into it. I think 3v3 with objective, super fun. I think the Island Expedition, like they had something going, right? I asked, yo, thank you, Mod. Wow, Mod, you're kind of VPC today, or saying, trying to kiss later or something. To get the A strong, I stopped playing Arena because I hate pillar being no fun. Yeah. I made my point. So let's go on, shall we? Is React over? No, we're still reacting. Savix, what about WoW MOBA mode? Dude, don't even get me started. I would love that mode. I would love a MOBA mode in WoW. That would be so cool. You want me to go on a tangent about this? WoW MOBA mode, chat? That would be sick. So you enter, everyone has footman gear. Everyone has footman gear. Clyde, thank you for the 3 million viewer host. Hope you had a great stream. Clyde, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Good timing. Welcome. Fresh invade, easy clap. Okay. This is just a thought. I'm not asking for this. But I think WoW mobile mode would actually be super poggers. You join in. You start with footman gear. Everyone has equal gear. Footman gear. And then you have lane. It's literally MOBA. Literally MOBA with jungle. But you play as your WoW character. And if you do good in CS, you press your little Hearthstone, come back, you shop a little bit, and then you can buy new gear. And then just break towers and win, dude. Yo. Fuck. WoW MOBA, man. Holy. Describing AV? No. Here's the difference in AV, though. See, you guys are getting twisted. AV is 40 versus 40. You have 30 apes running around. And then you have 10 apes just AFKing, jerking off, doing nothing. You report them, nothing happens. As in the MOBA version, it's 5v5. Wow, does that sound intriguing? Yes. And then also, same thing here, make it where it's okay to die. I'm not a big fan of immortals. Every class having infinite heals. None of the healers are able to die unless they're dampening or unless they're very, very bad. Did you? Kind of mean to say, but it's true. Yeah. I think that'd be cool, man. Yo, Clark, thanks again. Hope you had a good stream, brother. Let's go back, man. Let's go back. Basically 5v5 arena, but in the BG. Yes. I just want... Don't you guys agree? Isn't it lame when you are in a battleground and you face a healer 1v1 and you cannot kill a healer? Do you like that, chat? Maybe as a healer you like that, but I don't like how healers are unkillable in WoW. I think that's so stupid. But that's because the game is balanced around 3v3. And if they make it where you could res and come back, they'll make it where it's okay to die.
Wow, is this for real, Savix?
Preach, young.
Yo, thank you for the 5-month SPay. Thank you. You could kill a healer 1v1, there would be no reason to play healer. No, there's a lot of reason to play healer. I don't think healer should be just a healing dummy. I think healer should be what healers are in like Overwatch or any MOBA game. I think they should still be able to do damage and they can make outplay potentials to win. But a support class, to me, it shouldn't just be a heal bot. They should be doing CC, they should be doing damage as well, and then throwing some heals on the side, right? I don't like how it's just heal bot, right? Bro, it's so boring doing soft bursts on a healer and seeing their HP dip like 98. Yeah, I'm not a fan, man. Who he's talking to? I'm talking to the YouTube viewers. The point of being a healer shouldn't be able to 1v1 and win 90% of the time against DPS. Hello. He's talking to me. Yes, I'm talking to Mod, man. He's a changed man. If they do that, Warriors just die in second. Arms literally don't have anyone to heal. If they made heals more support, they would then Paladin off heal need to be nerfed. Exactly. Dude, were you here when I was talking about this whole thing? Chat, are you guys listening to anything I'm literally saying? Rewind like 5 minutes. I said nerf everyone's heal. World of Warcraft, everyone heals way too much, man. No? Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, I literally said that. I said every class in WoW heals too much. Like, when I'm dueling someone as a Red Paladin versus a Pharaoh, or even Fury Warrior, like, I killed 5 Red Paladins in a row with my Fury Warrior. Red Paladin heals too much, Fury Warrior heals too much, Demon heals too much, Mages heal too much. Every class heals way too much. I don't think that should be the case. I don't think so. Can you watch it? Yeah, let's watch it.
This is just a thing that you queue for that's like
It gives you half that power really quick.
It's just scenarios again, like
yeah, kind of. Yeah, they've sold that as. I think Garrisons is probably the worst situation ever because Garrisons they were like you're gonna get to build it, and immediately the impression you get.
Dude, type on the chat if you were the same as me. I thought Garrison I could place my house any angle I want. And build walls any angle I want. Put houses any angle I want. Oh my, I was gonna coom, dude. I was gonna coom. I was gonna invite all my buddies, have a party, but they're all like fixed spots. So lame. And then later they added in a boat system and I was so excited that I could ride my boat and go on a journey with my crew to fight on the island and come back home with the goodies. But guess what? We got a smartphone app where we just send them off. Oh my, that was the biggest stab. He pauses as the priest is about to talk. Oh, is he gonna say the same thing? I mean, that's literally every WoW player's mind. I think next expansion they should just do housing. They might even be late though. I think Riot Games is gonna come out soon, and Blizzard, you're in trouble, man. You gotta make the housing fast so that people get invested in the houses and stay in WoW forever and play. They gotta hurry, man. They gotta hurry, dude. Maybe Savix's take. Oh, dude, Maul, are you trying to be my bestest friend forever today or what, dude? Holy, who is this guy? I want to farm to a house. Yeah, I would love that. They're gonna talk about why they got scrapped, and it's kind of weird to hear their okay, let me hear their ideology.
Is I'm gonna get to customize this shit. I'm gonna like as an old school classic raider, I'm gonna have like a Nixxiom and a Farian's head.
Oh, that's when we got the new models, huh? I will say, a lot of people hate on the new models. I think new models are way prettier than classic WoW models. I can't be the only one, right?
It's like facing each other, and then I'm gonna be able to have the tail.
I will say their running is a little bouncy, but they just want to animate it. And when you animate stuff, you have to over exaggerate stuff, right? Like when you fight too, you fight close, but in movies you fight like it's like that. You just want to emphasize it a lot stronger. But you hate the new model? What do you mean I hate the new model? Dude, look at the miladies. Like you could customize them super hot now. Come on, Blizzard, give me a hot one so I could. Fuck, dude. WoW randomize sucks ass. You can make some hot wife. It's okay. All right, let's watch this. Yeah.
Around the building, you know, I'm gonna customize it, and then when we got it, it was like, well, this.
You said a month ago you like the auto. Okay, I like the male. That's why I showed. Sorry, body type 1, body type 2. I think body type 2, the new ones are way better, but the male. This one just looks way better. What is the emo called? Savix. That one. Oh, dude, I love this guy's face. The male face, that's it though. That's it. That's the only one. I think everything else, Night Elf too, actually. Night Elf and humans, Classic one's better. Everything else, retail's better. Everything else, retail's better. But there's 30 different faces now? Exactly. Is it weird that I want more customization though? I like customization stuff. I like customization stuff. I want like I think Black Desert is too far. Lost Ark customization maybe? Everyone does? Okay, okay. Everyone likes customization, right? It's like when Tower of Fantasy came out. It took like 1 hour customizing my character. They need to copy the dice from FF. I don't know if WoW will ever have dice because they always reuse the model for Elite set, etc, etc. Unless they added new gear and you can dye the new gear, not the old gear. I think that could work. That could definitely work. BDO is the pinnacle. Yeah, BDO is definitely the pinnacle of character customization. I want a bulge slider. I don't know why they don't do that. I had a talk about this with Anboni where it's a good sales pitch. If World of Warcraft adds a boob slider, how many of you guys would go nuts about this? I could name like 5 people that would go nuts. Kaiser's one of them. It could be a very good business move. You know how in Resident Evil, that big mommy milker lady with the hat, everyone was talking about her? If WoW gets boob slider, everyone would talk about WoW for that time. And a lot of people would come back for that slider. Same thing with bulge slider. It's a very good PR move. They can't, bro. It would be a PR apocalypse after their scandal. Ass slider. Dude, just add a slider, Blizzard. You guys will pop off. I want to max my bulge too. Dude. I want to have the biggest bulge in game. What did I spawn? So imagine we had a slider right here, man. The bulge slider. Like I have a massive bulge here. They should do it. They should do it, dude. Blizzard should do it. Blizzard getting another loss. No, Blizzard stock would rise up with this. I'm not even kidding. It would rise up. Alright, let's continue this video chat.
Somebody has a stables here and someone has a stables here. And that's kind of the limit of your customization.
I don't even... Okay, now I remember. They were talking about the garrison stuff, right? Have you seen the red Deary craft? It's insane. Dude, I can see what it is. What? This is messed up. Why would you do this?
Oh, shit. Oh.
How does this man not wake up?
Shit, get the fuck up, man. Push fuck down. Man, where that shit at?
Oh my
God.
God.
Fuck down, bro. Oh, fuck, bro. The fail up in the hell out of here. Fuck that. I'm gonna beat that bitch ass. I ain't get the fuck out of me, you little ugly bitch.
I actually hope he got a ass whooping. That's messed up, dude.
That you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's also why I think it's important to like have started building something before you start talking about it too much. Like just the nature of software and game development, especially at a on a team the size of the World of Warcraft team, means that until you've built most of it, you kind of don't know what it is yet.
So now we know. Our feedback on streams, forums, YouTube, whatever, it all gets back to the devs on a pretty much
why's the lagging, chat?
Weekly basis. And we're going to hear far more from Josh in his own interview we'll be uploading a little bit after this goes out. I found out why things don't change. Because you guys probably have the same question, right? We're moaning about it, we're complaining about it. Why is this feature not being iterated on, developed in some way? Suggestions we're putting forward not happening. This is when I learned about modular design. Modular design is a system that's been in place for a really long time and is going to be changing. In order to find out more about this idea, we're not only going to sit down with Ian again, but we're going to sit down with Tina Wang, who's the Associate Art Director of World of Warcraft, and Morgan Day, the Associate Game Director. Over the years, you guys have fell into a habit of almost cannibalizing your own game with every patch.
Yeah.
Which felt very wasteful. Like, I can't imagine the R&D that went into some of these systems. Dungeons, I mean, if you go back to Kata, it was like, in Wrath.
Chat, I hate to pause the video, but I'm about to sneeze. I need to go blow my nose. Okay. Alright, no more pausing, chat. You ready? Sorry. Dude, I reacted to this 37-minute video for like 2 hours.
TLC came out, right? Every other dungeon's irrelevant now. No point in doing it. And the same with raids. And obviously there's arguments to for linear raids. But Season 4, you've started to maybe consider, and we've actually seen this happen in a number of other MMOs recently, certainly the ones that are a decade plus, where they're like, we have a wealth of content that we've created over these years.
I like that they're bringing it back. People hated it. I said it. It's good use, great recycling. All dungeons. FF needs to do this too.
And we've just left it. And there definitely seems to have been a lack of iteration in Blizzard's, like, garrisons.
Chat, I'm not even pausing. My computer is pausing for me right now. I don't know what's going on.
Garrisons are remembered not fondly, unfortunately. But the premise is really good. It's just people like maybe a more cosmetic style than a practical solution. Warfronts. Yeah. How excited was the player base when Warfronts were announced? And unfortunately, it didn't go that way. The same with Island Expedition.
Okay, F5.
Very wasteful. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. The same with Island Expeditions. You know, we all watched the Sneaky Pete promise, and you're going to hate these guys, and they're going to interfere with you and stuff, and then part of the mandatory element was there. But we can reel a list off here of huge systems, huge resources that are brought into the game, which have been left to like, okay, and class halls I would definitely put in here, which feel like such a waste. And what is the thoughts there now for like over the next few years is to change that instead of reinventing the wheel every expansion?
Yeah, I think, I mean, so there's a couple of pieces to that. Some of that is definitely the move away from...
How did they sync that? They both changed their leg together. Look at this. Ready?
Okay, and class halls I would definitely put in here, which feel like such a waste. And what is the thoughts there now for like over the next few years is to change that instead of reinventing the wheel every expansion?
Yeah, I think, I mean, so there's a couple of pieces to that. Some of that is definitely the move away
Why are they syncing?
From, you know, expansion-specific systems that also would turn into borrowed whatever because they were going to go.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
Away back to
I can't control the slides.
I think, broadly speaking, I think there's you could almost carve out 3 eras of World of Warcraft philosophy and development. And I would say that the first era was from Classic all the way through Mists of Pandaria, where every expansion was adding extra layers, extra systems, new professions, new races, new classes, new things. And then we kind of reached, as we were coming up on almost 10 years at that point, a turning point, arguably a little bit of a crisis, as we were coming off like 2 expansions in a row. We'd had like 12 to 13 month final tiers, and just looking at like this infinite scalability, like this infinite exponential growth of like what it takes to make an expansion, both in terms of development, but also player-facing complexity of like how many systems do we have now? How just complicated is the game becoming? we're going to keep running this game for years and years and decades to come. Can we really just keep adding new permanent systems every couple of years forever? No. And so I think, you know, that's what led to some of the class pruning philosophy that led into Warlords. It's what led to kind of pulling back in some areas, but also the idea that we needed to be able to make things that were not permanent, that we could go deeper, focus them on a single expansion, have them be the hallmark of that expansion, but they weren't going to add to the ongoing complexity. That was, and so I think that was going into Warlords. And I think, as you mentioned, there were definitely some missteps with the garrisons.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, moving ahead into Legion, it was like, well, okay, obviously we don't want something that pulls you out of the world. The class hall in some loose ways with the mission table with some of its trappings and customization was a little bit of a successor to the garrison system. We wanted it to be a social space where you'd see all the other people of your class. And of course, that's where we also brought in, you know, a power component to it, artifact power, and all those systems. And it's important to bear in mind that, you know, we're planning a couple of expansions in advance. The development cycle of an expansion is quite lengthy, from initial conception to pre-production concepting, beginning to flesh things out.
Artifact system was one of the best things.
You know, we knew what the feature set for Shadowlands was going to be well before Battle for Azeroth came out.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that was the ongoing outgrowth of like what seemed like a very successful experiment in Legion. Legion was very well received overall, very popular overall. People had nothing but praise for its systems, and so part of what, you know, the team as a whole was thinking was like, okay, this is a great formula for a modern expansion. That
I see the thought process now.
What is our artifacts of the next expansion? What are the things that are going to fill these holes that we're going to leave? Now, there are a few things that we were still blind to. You know, I think first off was the initial excitement of like, oh my god, I no matter how much WoW I want to play, I can always keep progressing my character. This is awesome. I can log in on Saturdays and feel like I accomplished something, as opposed to the raid logging people were accustomed to in Warlords. That was energizing initially, but gave way to fatigue by the end of Legion, as we started to hear, you know, complaints about AP grinding and the sense of like, okay, I can always be progressing my character. That means I always should be progressing my character. I don't have
so you're
time
talking
for
about
alts
the
and
never-ending amount you can acquire.
Yes.
Versus one thing that took away in BFA was that anything you did gave you AP.
Yes, that continues. So I think, but I think again, a lot of the decisions about what BFA was going to look like were already almost completely locked in for all intents and purposes before we started to learn the lessons from Legion. And even, you know, even Shadowlands was beginning to respond to, well, what didn't work in BFA, what was missing from BFA, things like what could the successor to the class halls be, what if there are Covenant halls, what if these are, you know, places that have more depth and interest to them than anything we offered in BFA. But it wasn't really until we were halfway through that cycle.
I can see where they're going. Yeah, it's a good insight. Stop the video, we got ads. Stopped. Okay, while they're looking at ads, we can talk about the class hall. The reason why class hall worked is because we all had our own class hall, and we had like class amounts, and everyone got the ability tree, right? Whereas in Covenant, we could get to choose which one we go for. We didn't have that choice for the class hall. We just go to one and we're done, right? Whereas in the Covenant stuff, I think that was their goal. We choose one and we just keep going with that. But this would be good in PvE, and that would be better in PvP, as well as in like mythics and raids. It could be differentiated too, right? Some sort of classes. And that's where people wanted to change, but Blizzard wasn't giving that deal of the change for a very long time until the end.
Wow, is this for real?
And that's why people
Dale
got upset,
Crew
right?
gifted a tier 1 sub to Temp.
Yo, Dale, thank you for the gift sub. Appreciate it.
They have given 6 gift subs in the channel.
But I can see what they were trying to do. They were trying to fill in that artifact spot in Shadowlands. Yeah. Thank you, Dale. The Knife A Covenant Hall was 10 Warlocks and 10 Druids. Yeah. Ian looks like a villain in this still image. I feel like Ian was in the WoW team so long that he is looked upon as a villain. But I don't think devs are bad people, man. Or the people that assaulted stuff, they're bad. But not everyone, right?
that we started to really have concerns about, you know, the shift that had begun all the way back in Warlords about the modular approach that would take things away. Because people were not sad to say goodbye to their garrisons at the end of Warlords.
Shame, because
right?
if they've been iterated on, they were potentially something amazing.
Perhaps, but the feedback, right? So people didn't really appreciate the extent of that pain. When BFA came out, we certainly did.
Yep.
Losing your artifacts sucked. Leaving, having all your legendaries disabled the second you hit level 1.
That sucked actually. Giving away
15 sucked.
Not a good day getting into that alpha.
And I think, but again, at that point, we were already heavily committed on the course we were on, because we just, at some point, you know, we have to keep marching forward. We have to keep making stuff. We can't throw out a year of work. But we started to have misgivings about that general direction, and I think realizing that the cycle we're falling into is one where every expansion begins by losing something that was awesome, leaving a hole that we then, like, at best are scrambling to fill, and leave you maybe equal to where you were before, but if we screw up at all, lesser. That is not a path to success. And so that was the genesis for what I would like to.
CT's under. Think of the format, appreciate it. I wonder, the game would have become a monster if we kept all the power and we kept going, chat. Imagine we held on to everything. Like, we still have BFA necklace system and the artifact system and the gear spinning thing from BFA. Holy dude, imagine how many systems we would have had. It's kind of like Lost Ark though, right? Lost Ark had so much system. As a beginner, I was lost. Later, I kind of understood what to do, but had a lot of stuff, man. Corruptions, true. Can you link the video? Sure, man. New player need months to catch up? Yeah. Boy, tentacles everywhere. Damn.
Think of as sort of the beginning of a third era of WoW philosophy, which begins with Dragonflight, which is trying to return to the idea of
classic
focused, evergreen things, improving baseline systems, introducing new systems into the game that we plan to carry forward, not introducing systems that we plan
Maybe that's why people don't like Borrow Power, because they give it us and they yoink it in the next expansion, give it us, yoink it. Where in Classic, we just go with what we have, right? So I think them doing the Dragonfly like this is fine. I don't mind it at all.
Throw away at the end of a year and a half or whatever. But doing so, I think, in a more sort of thoughtful way that, as you were saying much earlier, gives us some opportunities to make use of prior content and, feels like it's going to be sustainable in the years to come.
I think we're really at our best when we're looking to solve problems, right? Like when you look at Mythic Plus that was introduced in Legion. Really, the problem that we were trying, that started from a problem. We identified a problem of like, we build these dungeons that are so beautiful, they're so epic, they're really exciting experiences, and then you stop running them after like, the first month of the game.
Well, the new idea is really cool. Mix them all the old ones back in.
Yeah, and that's another one where we're looking to really take cues from other games and really look to build off of that foundation of like such strong content of like, okay, cool, these were still fantastic dungeons.
And you're not the only ones. Like nearly every MMO we've looked at that's gone the decade plus mark is now looking back at the not only thousands of man hours but millions of dollars that have probably been spent, and they're just like, why did we just abandon that exactly?
We're just gonna leave that there?
Yeah, I mean, one of the revelations while I've been here is this idea that you had modular design things. And they had no intention of carrying them forward. And that just feels crazy, to know that it was fully intentional. Like, I get what they're saying is like, because you start the next expansion, thinking about it, planning it a couple of years way before, right? It doesn't quite fit into that mold, like Warfronts.
Right.
Probably don't fit into Shadowlands particularly well, so we're just going to make it and leave it behind. But as a general whole idea, do you think that's just going to go away? Like, we will look to, why are we investing time in this and not carrying it forward?
So I think there will absolutely be systems that are added to WoW that are evergreen and will continue to, move forward with us, and will continue to evolve those. But that doesn't mean that they can't change, right?
You can't think of what it's going to be in 15 years, right? You have to say, like, let's put it out. What do people like, not like, and sort of grow it from there. And try and make it work.
Faded raids? Is faded like mid-eye level raids?
When I found out, it's like, no, it was never intended to go. I was like, You made like Sneaky Pete and this whole AI thing for islands, and it's like, yeah, but you know, it's not gonna go anywhere.
Chalk.
So when we see that
in 36 months,
I think people will be really appreciative of that idea.
Right. And it's always fun, like you mentioned Sneaky Pete and the islands and kind of the AI that got built there. There's always, you know, exciting opportunities when we build things like that to try to look at that as something that we could leverage for a future feature, right? Like, I've always loved the idea of like, gosh, it wouldn't it be cool to add like an arena that was just played against like, you know, AI essentially, but what if we made them really good and like, that could be pretty fun, again? Right? Like, can we like recreate some of the like BlizzCon champions, like how they're playing? That would be really fun. And like, hey, play against the BlizzCon champions. Like, what?
We did use some of the technology, right, with things like the comp stomp, or the Beacon comp stomp. So they certainly are not arena champions that you play against. It's like basically the honor farm situation, but we try to find small ways like that.
This modular design concept is really, really important to understand how World of Warcraft is made, and it will answer a ton of questions you probably have about features that came into the game and then disappeared. Features you probably consider to be failures. Torghast, island expeditions, warfronts, etc., etc. The way it works is Dragonflight is about to come out, but Dragonflight has actually been in production for 2 years. As me and you are talking right now, and no, I did not get to see anything, I intentionally closed my eyes, the next expansion is already in the works. Now they have to base what's coming out next.
Wait, they're working on the next expansion already? Or did I mishear it?
On what they've done before and what you guys might like.
Yeah, they're always that far out. I don't know if I like that, man. I don't know if they like that. This is a repeated cycle where they make a new expansion, they care about it like the first 2 seasons, and then they're too busy working on the new expansion, so they don't show any love for the later seasons. I hope that's not the case, man. I remember they did this in BFA and I was pissed. Remember BFA, we had one of the longest seasons ever. I'm positive DF is gonna be a blast till season 2. Okay, yeah, DF will be good for 2 seasons if they're doing another. It is and always been like this. I know it has been. I know it has been like this for decades, but I don't know if that's a good move, man. I want them to take longer if they need to. I guess they have to fit in the criteria of Bobby Kotick's wallet, right? Of releasing the new game every time so they can have a jump on the subscription increase. Damn, they're already working on the new expansion now. The game's not even out yet. And some of the flaws like aren't even fixed. Maybe that's why it takes forever for them to fix the game, chat. Because players are pointing them out, but they're busy working on the other new MMO right now. It's because it's a live game and you have to keep working on it for the future. Right, but what if they just keep making good patches along the game? I honestly think Dragonflight should have been delayed a little bit longer. I think it came out really early. Out of the blue. They can always hire more. This is why they have lack of creativity. They don't give any time to let things come. It's kind of like Bleach, man, where the artist was rushed and the story kind of got whacked, right? I don't want games to be like super rushed because they have a deadline. And I'm pretty sure since they're under Activision, they have a deadline to fill in the game and release new expansions every time. But that kind of sucks, man. I feel like that could hurt the game a lot if they have a deadline. I'm pretty sure Dragonflight was a little rushed too. I want DF too, but I want a game that's like completed. I don't want like a half-ass tested game to come out and then season 1 and 2 is like a fiesta of them just balancing out the whole numbers. Because that's what we're gonna see, right? I guarantee you, like Radiant Decree for Red Paladin, we still haven't got that nerfed. So I could one-shot people with Radiant Decree, which is the other Wake of Ash talent. And there's a lot of talents that they really haven't fixed yet, and it's gonna go through. And I'm not a fan of them working on a new game when their current expansion is just coming out. That feels very wrong, man. I might have a different approach now. Earlier, I was saying you know, good things about it, but after hearing about this, man. All right, let's see this. That's just tuning. Right, but that doesn't mean like any of the revamps. Will it even come? It's no longer a passion project, it's just a product. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Well, how would they have a X-Pack in 2 years then? I mean, they don't have to have a new X-Pack every 2 years, right? They have to, and not the same people work on tuning concept for X-Pack anyway. They aren't working on the next expansion. They're brainstorming features and setting out design briefs. There's a specific team that works on live game, and while they have... No, man, I was in the fucking... I talked with Chris Kaleki, man. They have a fund to chat. They have a fund. Bobby Kodak gives a little, you know, $2 over here. And they gotta split this up. Like PvP gets this much, raids get this much, new mounts. They have a fund that they work with, and he told us specifically that the team is not big. Like they need more people here in this scene, but they have to go work on the new expansion. So they have like 2 people in the office working on PvP, while the other has more over there, right? Chris Kaleki, there's a podcast, or not podcast. Chris Kaleki talking about it. 2, you think I'm meeting with 2? I'm not even kidding. Some of them have so little employees. Not even joking, man. Not even joking. Okay, the $2 was a meme, but the work, like having 2 workers, it's not a joke. Didn't Anboni say the priest and druid created people left? Yeah, there's no... Is it director or developer for Priest and Druid right now? They're looking for one. But this year Blizzard have 50% more people. Oh, did they actually hire more people?
Wow, is this for real, Savix?
Relixer, thank you for the prime. Appreciate it, man. After years of maining red, I think I'm finally taking the rogue pill. Bro, don't do this to me. Stick with the reds. Reds will make you proud. It's really good. Ask Lockheed. They hire a lot of odd people. No thanks. I want to have fun. Red is really good. Let's continue the video, shall we?
The best example here is Artifact Power and Azerite Power. Ian mentioned that during Legion, they took a risk with Artifact Power, a never-ending grind.
Sorry, I just got a DM from Kaiser, and he went to go have dinner with his girlfriend. He's eating like microwave pizza with Pokemon picture taped on a chair, man. Holy, he's got some gamer fuel as well. Holy moly, I'm jealous. What can I say? My ex-mod is having dinner with Pokemon.
And it was met very, very well by the players. At the same time Legion's coming out and people are responding to this, Battle for Azeroth is already in production. This system is going to continue in terms of Azerite Power. That means that the guys are already building their island expeditions, these daily quests out where things will pop out to collect Azerite Power. They're already building Azerite armor. This is all the stuff they're building as the natural succession to artifact weapons and artifact power. It's not until the end of Legion that people start getting annoyed with artifact power. It's an endless farm. I've been doing it now for 2 years. I'm getting frustrated by it. Oh no. Our next expansion has exactly the same system in place with more twists and turns involved in it. And there's nothing they can do about it. We've already built it. It's ready to go. We can't just scrap it and start again because it takes 2 years to make more things.
Surely.
This modular design concept also plays into this. Let's look at mop farms. Mop farms were super cool, but they make no sense when going into the next expansion, Warlords of Draenor. What they do though is use that technology. So we see mop farms as a cool thing that disappeared. The trick is, it was never meant to continue. What it did do is turn into garrisons. Now garrisons contained a bit of farming and a bit more customization. Garrisons disappear. We as players see those features as failures. We look at garrisons and we say failure. Torghast, failure. We look at island expeditions, failure. And we consider them failure because they don't exist going forward. The fact of the matter is, they were never going to carry forward. Now, this leads to various problems on iteration. How much resources, if players don't like it, can you throw into a system that you know is going to be gone in several months? The answer is not a lot.
Yeah, what
because
is
you're going to be rid of it soon anyway. That's what's going to happen. And its replacement is already being built, if not already built. So you know that you're going to get an upgraded version. This is why they utilize the technology at the back end to make the next thing better, or they hope it's going to be better. So mop farms becomes garrisons. They then use that garrison technology to create class halls. They then use the class hall technology to make covenant sanctums, using that same tech. And therefore, they don't consider it a failure. But in the player's eyes, we do consider it a failure. And this is what's going to change. Instead of us constantly slotting in these Lego bricks of these various features and systems that we don't understand, like soulbinds and Netherlight Crucible, all those things that we just were like, what is this? And then it just disappears. Essences would be another example. Now we're going to look at things.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. We like spend time and get the knowledge and all these stuff and it disappears. I don't think FF or Lost Ark does that stuff, right? Where you lose what you had. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there is, right? Lost Ark has a lot of system, but it works. FF has like no system. It's pretty straightforward. Right, but it's not like WoW where they give you something and take it away every expansion, is what I'm asking. I don't think they do that. I think only WoW does that, and I think that's really stupid. Oh shit, Mod, you got a nice date, man. Treat her well, alright, man.
Talent trees. You can keep that
But
going.
they change, yeah, right. So if going on from Dragonflight, they're doing that. It's good to hear. Hope they do a good job with it.
The new profession system, we can keep that going. And whatever else Dragonflight has in mind, there will still be some things which are expansion specific, because it does make sense.
Okay, if they're moving away from that, that's excellent.
Doesn't make sense
I like
in a
hearing
Shadowlands environment, but it should be way less so, with much more care given, like other MMOs are doing, to allowing them to go forward and be iterated on and stay with the familiar.
What is going on with my browser? Dude, we're playing at 360p and I'm lagging. Guzu PC dying, Savix PC dying, everything is dying. Is OBS like killing me or something? What is this?
For the players. This feels like it's perfectly in line with the actual gameplay core loop that you're changing. Are you worried? Because I feel like the game has been out so long now. Someone like me could look at Dragonflight and be like, heaven. I can come away for a week like I am now here with you guys. I'm not screwed.
Yeah.
I'm not screwed over. I'm not screwing my raid team or anything like that. And this is fine. But we've now got a huge amount of players who have never known World of Warcraft without logging in and having a list created for them of things that they should do. And how do you think that's going to be met with the player base once they get into an environment it's like, choose where you want to go?
And I think the hope is, well, I mean, there's still you can look at your world map and there's plenty of activities. There's world quests and other events. There's things to do to raise your different renowns that you're chasing. And early on, again, for the people who don't have their sights set on doing high Mythic Plus or jumping in and getting into Mythic rating as soon as they can, a lot of the item level rewards from all of those systems will be very relevant. And, going and helping either, Rathian or Sibelian out the Obsidian Citadel or otherwise. Depends. It depends on how I feel on any given day.
Commit.
Coward. No.
Pick a side.
We'll see what the canon choice ends up being. But in any case, all of those things are offering powerful rewards. It's not like we've just said there's no more reward in the game. But for the people who, the people who are focused on the hardcore stuff, who are getting, 410 plus gear from other sources, they have plenty to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need to try to, offer them more reasons to spend more time in World of Warcraft than they're otherwise spending. And I think, all this is just there with a sense of freedom to explore it as you see fit. For some people, maybe you're going to focus on getting raid ready during the first couple of weeks.
Man, I don't know what to do, Chad. I want to PvP hardcore solo queue, but I want to do PvE too. And I want to raid too. Fuck, I can't choose. Before every expansion, I just wanted to PvP all the time. Or I PvE to get PvP items, right? But this expansion, I wanted to PvE too. do all of them. You can still do. Okay. I'll try to do all, but I don't want to spread myself too thin. But there's no grind. Okay. Damn, this sounds insane. Okay.
And you'll come back and check out the renown tracks later because there are mounts or dragon riding skins or other things you want to unlock. Or again, if you're someone who's really focused on professions, there are specific recipes. If you're a leatherworker, you're going to want to, work on that centaur renown to get some of the leatherworking recipes from there. So it's all of the same philosophies are there. It's just we don't have that artifact power, that soulbind renown, that thing that is just hitting everyone over the head with being completely mandatory regardless of your playstyle. And again, that gets back to we don't want to force players
I'm playing casual.
into content.
Okay, you don't understand how unhealthily I played WoW back at the time. The way I'm playing it now is much better than before. Okay, you don't understand, dude. You don't understand.
Inherently enjoy. We want to let you play the game the way you want to play the game.
Are you?
Look, I'll show you. Hold on. I'll show you how unhealthy. And FF as well. People make like two accounts so they could do 2 raid log to get good gear, right? Have a better chance to getting items. I love WoW so much. I have a fucking army of Red Paladins. Look at this. 1 Red Paladin, 2 Red Paladin, 3 Red Paladin, 4 Red Paladin, 5 Red Paladin. Dude, I was a slave, okay? I would be camping all of these guys every week. And it's unhealthy. I'm not going to play all 5. I might play all 5. Actually, maybe I play like 2 Red Paladins. Shit. Yeah, I'm not going to go too hardcore. I'll play like 3 classes. 3 classes, okay? Okay, maybe 4. Maybe I even play EU, man. We'll see, dude. We'll see.
Far more relaxed now with it's okay if people aren't logging in week on week. If they log in just for... Because you mentioned earlier, raid logging would be the prime example, but obviously in terms of logging in to do the specific thing they want to do. Because it's felt like for a good long time now, we want people online we want WoW to be a part of their daily habits almost. By intention, your mission, even your mission board and BFA.
Sure.
Who the fuck does? Chad, do you do this? I haven't done this since WoD. I didn't even touch it in what is it? Shadowlands. I didn't even touch this. This is so dumb. I wish we could go and join them in the mission and like beat up a hard boss or something. That would be way more entertaining for me. I'm not a fan of send mission done.
Collecting your Azerite power, whatever it might be. As a lot of these systems seem designed to engage somebody, at least on a daily basis, as the norm. So are you more relaxed now with that? Probably isn't going to be... It won't be for me, is what I would say. It's not going to be. There's other options out there that are equally as fun and maybe less fun, but also I can jump into that experience very quickly. You've got games like Path of Exile out there that are just free.
Sure.
Not going through a great time right now, but generally speaking, the market is so flooded with this. Is this something you're adapting to, accepting, or...
I mean...
Trust in FF, exactly.
All the above to an extent. I mean, I think we never want... our goal is never habit in the sense of, like, you have to log in when you don't want to. Our goal is for you to want to log in. Our goal is for you to want to play World of Warcraft.
Oh, am I hearing this correctly right now?
To getting back into the game, to have something you want to complete, something you want to chase.
Is
and
this for
if you're not wanting it, then getting you to do it despite that isn't a victory for us. It's just burning people out. And so I think giving people the freedom to feel like they can take a step away, do something in real life, play another game for a while without falling behind is valuable. I think the one thing that we do worry about when it comes to sort of the raid logging phenomenon or people taking breaks is the social nature of the game. Is sort of the critical mass of keeping a group together. If the person who is really excited to log in to do things with their guildmates logs in and no one from their guild is online because of whatever reason, and then they just log back off kind of disappointed because they were hoping to play with friends but their friends weren't around, that can be an issue. And I think that's something, going back to WoD, to Warlords of Draenor, that was probably the peak of the raid logging era, where really there was like, other than checking your garrison, if it wasn't raid night, there was nothing to do. It wasn't because
That
Myth
wasn't
Plus didn't
outside
even
your
exist back
garrison
then
as well, you know? Like,
yeah.
Go in, look at all 10 of your characters, or I think it was 10 at the time.
And so that felt like
That's how classic WoW is.
like a step too far toward that end of the spectrum. But ultimately, you know, as long as we're keeping social groups.
As a PvP player, I didn't have a problem with this. I fucking PvP'd all day. But like I said, Mythic Plus, so the IO score, it keeps people interested, man. So it not only becomes a raid logger, people just do Mythic Plus to, you know, feed their little point systems.
Somewhat healthy.
This is a good thing.
We want people to be able to play the game in the way that makes them happiest.
Excellent. Like, this is all very positive.
That, right?
Yeah,
it's like it seems like it should. It's kind of a no-brainer, but
well, no, I mean
yeah.
that's the experience I've had, and I've been on some mystical quest now, like Kung Fu, is like trying all these different experiences. Like the main thing I'm seeing is they just create experiences that you want to log in for, you don't have to log in for, which is what I remember from World of Warcraft.
There's a player base of millions of folks who've said, we like this game, we've chosen to make this our home. We ignore them at our folly. Like, what do they want? What do they not want?
I think that's enough about gameplay. Dragonflight is changing so much. This mandatory content that we've been burdened with for the last 8 years is going away. There'll still be some stuff.
I'm laughing at
but
chat.
that's basically them wanting you to be excited about it. Come and check it out, see what it's like. But then you can leave it alone. It's more of an introduction than anything else, and I think that's a fair balance that they've struck. But now we need to move on to a more sensitive subject. The elephant in the room. Sexual allegations against Blizzard has been a prominent subject around the world.
Oh,
it's still
shit.
ongoing, with lawsuits still pending.
Wait, is he gonna talk to them about this?
But let's find out what they've done to change things internally.
Okay.
A frat boy culture. That is how Activision Blizzard is now being described here in this new lawsuit filed by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. The state agency alleges that female employees there are subjected to sex discrimination, unlawful sexual harassment, retaliation, and unequal pay.
Let's get into a few
unequal pay. That's fucked.
Rules of this subject because it's a little sensitive, and investigations are still ongoing and probably will be ongoing for a while, which means we can't dive into specifics. We're simply not allowed. I'm also not a journalist. I am not the person who should be diving into this stuff. There are lawyers and things working on this currently to find out exactly what happened and make sure the right people are compensated. We know certain things have happened at Blizzard. We are fully aware that they have done a complete equity paycheck on every single employee in the business, making sure that person A doing the same job as person B are being paid exactly the same amount for doing that job. We know that's taken place and people are very happy with it. What we're going to do is give Blizzard the platform. We're going to ask the question of what their goal is overall. What is their philosophy overall to make sure things like this never happen again? Amongst all the Dragonflight changes that have come from the last 7 years of expansions, it's been so changed. But you've also had so much, and we've got to get into this, is like so much upheaval internally with COVID. We obviously had all the harassment stuff that came through and massive changes amongst the staff. Like, how have you dealt with that in terms of dealing with the motivation of the staff, the internal environment, and then pushing forward with an entirely new philosophy on the game for Dragonflight? It's got to have been a rough couple of years. Though.
It's definitely been a challenging couple of years, but I think the team today is stronger and more tight-knit than we've ever been, having come through that and having weathered it. I mean, COVID in 2020 was obviously threw the whole world for a loop, to say the least, and began a process for us of relearning a lot of sort of lifelong creative and collaborative processes of how do you have what used to be the casual conversation around a whiteboard, or bouncing ideas off your office mate.
To talk about it yesterday, it's like it's very, very strange, and in the creative environment, that's really hard. And you've done Shadowlands and Dragonflight.
I thought you guys said they hired more people. It looks pretty empty, man.
New place, so it's got to have been for you who's leading the charge. It's like, okay, this is a lot of challenges to face.
I think it's been resolving some problems and figuring out systems and processes that work, and a lot of I think a lot of what we've come up with, we would keep regardless, even if we could all come back to the office tomorrow.
You missed
it. There's certain meetings that we would have that we keep virtual forever. I think it is it's the social connections, it's the casual interactions that are the hardest to reproduce, but we continue to work at it. And then obviously the other major event last year, I think really it triggered a period of ongoing self-reflection for the team as a whole, for the company as a whole. Starting last summer, it was both looking inward to our culture, to our history, to frankly ask, like, are we who the internet says we are? Is this who we really are? And I think the answer we came to is no, but also certainly it's who we never want to be and want to have no chance of being. And so how do we change our processes? How do we develop a culture?
You know, I grew up wanting to work at Blizzard because I was an art major and I wanted to draw for them, man. That was my dream. But to see the real side, I'm kind of glad this got surfaced on. I'm sure there has been more, but Blizzard's a big company. I'm glad it happened so that other companies can take note or be aware of everything, right? Because I'm sure some places still do things in an unfriendly manner, such as the harassment or the pays. And hopefully this kind of like was an eye-opening for everyone. Like, Riot had the same thing happen too. I don't know if FF had one, but I'm sure every company, there are some like harassment going on. But this definitely made them, you know, a little bit more Monka-esque about it. And it's good. It's good.
Feedback and listening and openness and trust that make sure that even the slightest hint of impropriety will be raised and dealt with before we ever got any place close to the allegations from years and years ago. But at the same time, we were also listening to our player base and kind of re-examining, you know, we were hearing lots of feedback, not just about anger at the revelations in the lawsuits, but about the state of the game.
Yep.
It was a double whammy. Your I'm quitting video very much included. Of like, we're missing something big here, right? Our goal at the end of the day is to make a world that players want to spend time in, that they're going to love spending time in, and that's the passion that drives all of us. And we're failing.
This is the third day we've been here on the Blizzard campus, and it's a strange, strange place. It's huge. 7 giant buildings housing Overwatch over there. They're doing World of Warcraft in there. They're doing WoW Classic over there. It's a weird, weird environment to be in because there's nobody here. Blizzard has been running about 15% staff on site since Shadowlands, since COVID kicked in, and it doesn't plan on changing. People that are here generally come in for 1 or 2 days a week. The rest of the time they work from home. And all across California, to the other gaming companies we've spoken to this week, that is going to stay exactly like that.
The last 4 years have been really tumultuous for you guys. We've had COVID, and walking around yesterday, wonderful access to see everything and see how it works, but desolate. You know, very strange, an eerie feeling, because everything is designed for so much fun. Yeah, well, today's an anomaly, and I know that.
Yeah, there's actually no
I've been told that many times by the comms team. They're like, it's not like this. We've not set this up. These aren't paid actors.
Oh, there's a library? Damn, this guy must be lonely. No one's going to come to a WoW library. Who would come?
By the comms team, they're like, it's not like this. We've not set this up. These aren't paid actors to give it some life. But we did the full tour yesterday. Everything you guys have set up for all the
There's
stuff.
some games that did. I hope people go in there and play.
It's so fun. Like, they're very creative in their places. Seeing the team, the staff just playing volleyball at lunch. That's stuff. That's exactly why we're here. No one sees that, right?
Yeah.
That's what they don't know happens.
Yeah.
But obviously, then the allegations come out. Huge shake-up at the top. Like, and you guys are the ones who steered that ship, as far as I know. So we need to know, how did you do that? You came into a really rough patch, and then you seemingly have got here. So,
well, I mean, as you pointed out, I mean, who could have predicted the last couple of years? I mean, just having COVID and having to work from home, and you know, we literally mobilized like within a couple of days. It's like, okay, everyone, there's a lockdown happening. You need to go home to be safe, and you know, we're going to make sure you have equipment. And you know, then we literally went through a cycle of getting everyone machines. That alone was a big deal, you know, to deal with. And certainly, you know, the issues that we faced as a company and even as our team, you know, our team felt very strongly about, hey, you know, we're going to send our message out to our players. We want them to know where we stand and what, you know, what we want to be, you know, as a team. And, you know, I'm really proud of how much nobody on the team got defensive. Nobody said, oh, but this, that, or the other, and said, no, you know, okay, this is a wake-up call for us. This is something that we have to ingrain in our culture and reinforce. And we've grown as a team, and as new players come onto our team, we want to make sure that they are safe, that they understand what our values are, and that, you know, we want our game to be inclusive and diverse. Because after all, our audience it's around the globe. I'm going to throw one thing at you because I also oversee the Warcraft franchise.
Yes.
In our 28-year history, we've accumulated 250 million players in Warcraft. Around 250 million players.
It's crazy when you see the number, right?
It's nuts, right?
It just seems unrealistic.
You think of how, big that is. And it's important that the team that is making the game and the content that's in that game reflects that diverse audience. And that's something that this team has embraced wholeheartedly. And it's been great. It's been great to see and letting our game and our team speak for us, and what we stand for. I've never been through that kind of experience before, especially making games, which I think a lot of people think of as kind of trivial entertainment.
There's a dog, man. That's so cool.
Or at least they did when I first got started with it.
What the heck?
And now it's an important part of people's lives.
Lead PvP them. Oh shit.
No, I totally get that, and I can't say I've never seen a happier workforce besides mine, obviously. No, everybody's been super happy.
Feel free to speak candidly if you don't agree.
But it generally has felt that way being here, because that's exactly why I asked to do this. I watched the latest couple of interviews. The Dragonflight announcement I really disliked because it was very glossy and shiny. I was like, this isn't gamers. It's not us. Who are you talking to? And it's
the
when you
dog
get here,
wants
it's like, this is the reality.
battles.
Chilling out, shouting, playing volleyball, and doing all those kind of things. And I think you should be proud of what you've done, because unless you're all like it's a North Korea thing going on out there, everyone seems pretty happy.
The stories that came out over that time were
what was that joke?
Absolutely horrific, and they're still ongoing, which is why the guys couldn't say much. No woman working anywhere should feel that way, and this is an industry-wide problem that we're seeing all over the place and hopefully is being addressed. Blizzard themselves are doing what they can, making sure that the lines of communication are open, and the message has been absolutely loud and clear. We spoke to people off camera, on camera about this, and that message was simple. This can never, ever happen again. They can't afford to have it happen again, and they don't want to be associated with that kind of environment.
They're done if it happens.
And they're trying to move forward as a team, and as Ian said, they don't want to be the people the internet says they are. They don't want that at all. And it's nice to see that during the stages that the staff did, that John Haidt was out there supporting them as well. The new leadership is a big part of why we went. Fresh blood in. We've had Holly come in, Mike Ibarra come in, and we have Microsoft potentially coming in the future, who are all addressing this issue to make lives better for themselves. And we hope for that to be there. In total, Activision Blizzard has laid off 37 staff, reprimanded a further 40 plus. I can't predict the future, and it's not my place to do so. I can't talk to everybody at Blizzard, and the fact is, as was pointed out to us several times, is the fact that people can now work from home has given them a safety net to be able to speak out as quickly as possible if something is going wrong. What the future holds is on Blizzard. And so we'll pay attention to these ongoing lawsuits, what's going on and what they're doing with. But I can tell you this, and I'm okay with saying this. What I saw while I was there was extremely happy people. Obviously not everybody's there, but that's what I saw. The only times that Blizzard asked us to turn our cameras around was when the staff were squealing with delight at seeing other employees. They've been apart for so long, and they love working there, and they love the other people they work with. We've heard from other sources that you will see in other interviews coming out later that the rumors and reports are that things are much, much, much better at Blizzard itself, especially in the Warcraft team, and they're all working to make things good for them. That's what we know, but it's up to them to prove it. The other thing I want to discuss is, why did we go? Why did we do this? Why did I pay to send me and another member of my staff all this equipment over across the other side of the world in order to see Blizzard? When I left, I was about as deeply upset about a video game as I'd ever been. World of Warcraft provided me so much, and I had to say goodbye. But I felt we owed them another chance. And what was really interesting is that the top execs at Blizzard, not just in regards to me, but in regards to you guys as well who may have left.
Dude, nobody quits WoW. I'm never going to say I quit WoW ever in my live chat. Because you can always go back, right? I'm never going to say I quit, dude. Never say you quit, chat. Don't say it, man. Don't say it. Don't say it. I had like 10 friends try. Did you quit FF? I didn't quit FF. I love FF. I'm just taking a short break.
Felt the same.
Nah, any game I play, I'm never gonna say I quit, dude.
Why?
WoW, when it first came out, I mean,
or you're just gonna get memed on. Like people get memed on. Then why'd you say I quit? I didn't say I quit, did I? It's just labeled like that on the video. Zepla explains it. You gotta have a good title for the clicks, you know? Clark loves Clark quit WoW like 10 times. I remember when PUBG came out, Clark quit WoW to go play PUBG. And Fortnite came out, Clark went to go play Fortnite and so he quit WoW. Overwatch 2 came out, so he quit WoW. Rat Delicious, he quit WoW. Holy moly,
Facebook was only at Harvard. It hadn't yet hit the rest of the world. And for a lot of people, social interaction through the chat of WoW and logging in on WoW was one of their first experiences in being around a bunch of other people and exchanging ideas. Even though the premise is we're playing this game together, but we're also having meaningful discourse. And I think that we want to see that we're doing the same thing 5 and 10 years from now that we did back then.
Especially because seemingly when I stopped making regular content.
I'm laughing because this video was a 4-minute clip of me talking, and then Zepla made it a 20-minute animated. Oh my god!
You guys, not directly, but World of Warcraft gave me a career. I've traveled the world with my children because of World of Warcraft.
Oh, that's right. He has kids.
Leave that behind was devastating. Like to the point where I could not play this game anymore. That's where I was at. I can't even fathom logging into play anymore. Nope. We met in 15 years ago when you were in Molten Core.
Wow.
He was just a raider in Molten Core, in my Molten Core guild. And we disconnected for a decade. Cool. And then, because I was streaming and stuff, he was like, "Oh, Mike."
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, and now he works for me, and we're all doing very well. So I owe all that to. So it's like leaving it behind was devastating. And then I see Dragonflight's coming out, and I kind of got the message. We kind of changed everything that you were moaning about. Come have a look. I was like, okay. And then I came in. I was skeptical. I was a pessimist. I was like, it's here somewhere. There's Azerite power under this table. I know there is. It's lurking, and it's like, no, it's not there. So that's when I watched the last interview with Ian and Max. I was like, this ain't right.
No, you're not shitposting. You're one of the nicest guys, bro.
Let's send a message. Can we come? Can we do something that's casual, relaxed, a conversation? Instead of like, here's 20 questions. Go, 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 go. Right, I'm going.
Yep.
I feel the request.
So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You've been wonderful, both of you.
Yeah, thanks for not giving up on us.
Yeah.
How can I?
Wow.
I agree with you guys.
The sun is setting on our time here at Blizzard for now, and this video.
So Bellular returns
everything
to
we were
WoW
promised,
as well.
we were given unprecedented access. We got to go absolutely everywhere. We were well taken
Everyone
care of.
comes back to WoW.
And it's hard not to be impressed with the changes in leadership and the direction that they're going with this game. I can't promise what's going to be here in the next 5 years. What I can tell you is, as I'm talking to you right now, a meeting has been going on since 5 a.m. discussing where World of Warcraft will be in the next 10 years. They're duly focused on new things. It's Era 3 is what they're calling it. It's going to be a big change from everything we've seen since Legion, since Classic. They're going in a different way, and they're going to see how people like it, and they're going to adapt. Everything they've told us is that they're listening to player fluid feedback. The game is going to be dictated far more by what players want to do. The idea of modular content will remain, but now they're looking to make content that is far more evergreen. Features added in Dragonflight should still have relevance 3 expansions down the road, not just left to the bin like Warfronts, Island Expeditions, Torghast, Garrisons, the list goes on, Class Halls, which have all been fan favorites, some of them less so, but then just disappeared every single time, which was by design in the past. That's going to change. They're going to look at it in a different way. It's worth a look, and it's worth checking out because their intentions seem very, very pure. I'm super happy with what we found here. I couldn't have asked for more. I couldn't have asked for more time, and I'm glad we came, and I'm glad we did this. Thank you for coming along for this journey, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That was a great interview video. That was super good. I'll subscribe to Preach. I've never really watched Preach until he played FF, and I watched a little bit of it, but until then, I really never watched him. Because I was more of a PvP guy, right? But that was good, insightful.
Oh, that's hot.
I don't know what you're hotting
That's
to.
hot.
I liked everything. I liked all the changes except for the fact that Dragonflight, man. Dragonflight chat. We're going to Dragonflight from this patch to the new. I really wish they put a lot of work into this, but I don't know if they got a lot of work in it because COVID happened. They didn't get to work. Plus, they had the sexual harassment stuff. So I'm pretty sure everyone was uncomfortable working on Dragonflight. That's the only reason why I have little doubts on Dragonflight, even though everything nicely is said. And then it kind of doubled down that right now they're already working on a new expansion when this one isn't even out yet. I don't like that. I kind of wish they would just work on this a little bit more. And then when maybe we're at season 3, they could start, you know. Or maybe hire more people. I don't like that they're working on a new one already. That's a downplay for me.
Thank God.
I just want to go to Furryland, not some Kappa Pride Island. Gotcha. Can you open your task manager to see how effed up? I mean, we're not playing the video anymore, so it might have gone down. 14%, 13%. I wonder how it is when I'm playing the video. Maybe it was full screen? That makes no sense though.
It is Tuesday. We are on our way for the first time. We're in the Uber right now with all our stuff. By now, you guys have probably seen.
It seems the same.
Filming today. I wrote a couple of days ago and was hoping Ian would be fine.
Do you have hype? They're working on a new expansion already? Yeah. Which is what they did every time, but for this one, watch it again. We're not watching it again, man. I would love to do some keys, but I think I'm just gonna do a little bit of solo shuffle and duels so I could get my hands a little warmed up since we have 3 days left until Dragonflight, right? Do a Chrome clean. I think I need to clean up my C drive.